Yes, and hello once again. I'm Max Ratt, and welcome to the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. Yeah, so it's September 24th, 2013, and I got another show for you today. Well, you know, the last show was my cancer show called Questioning Cancer. I got lots of feedback from several people who are cancer survivors and other interested parties. I'm very happy and proud that I made that show. There's loads of great information in it. Check it out if you can. But today's a new show, and this show is going to be called "You Can't Be Serious," and it's about Syria. And after I finish the cancer show, all my friends and people I would come across were always like, "Oh, what about Syria, Max? What's happening with Syrious?" And it was such a giant rollout story that so I said, let me dig into this and see what's going on here. I put together a show for you. I've been working on it steadily for the last 2 weeks. Got loads of clips, loads of information, and I'll show you where it's all headed towards. Lots of stuff I'll tell you. I guess just get the show going. Welcome aboard the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone once again. I'm Max Ratt on September 24th, 2013. Got a show for you, and let's roll it.
For me, it's just the way I live my life. I grip it and I rip it.
Now why don't you show me what you have in your file?
It is I, your insanely great leader, Steve Mobs. I'm speaking to you from Maple headquarters deep below the sea with an announcement that will completely change the way you look at everything.
Ooh.
And that announcement is...
You're all losers! You think you're cool because you buy a $500 phone with a picture of a fruit on it? Well, guess what? They cost $8 to make, and I pee on every one! I have made a fortune off you chumps, and I've invested it all in Microsoft. Now my boyfriend Bill Gates and I kiss each other on a pile of your money!
We're sorry we woke you. Everything's okay. Go back to bed. It's late.
Well, what's happening is that the handful of rich elites around the world are continuing to steal everything from everybody else. And the middle class in every country is disappearing, and the lower class is being pushed lower. And everyone pretends there's some kind of recovery and there's going to be a happy tomorrow and all that sort of thing.
They seek to rule a world of slaves and not of peers.
The time has come for America to hear the truth.
After a recent chemical weapons incident in Syria, the United States decided to see if we could bomb the truth out of them.
Anybody who even starts to point out the truth is mercilessly ridiculed as a believer in the conspiratorial theory of history.
Using as primary resources, A, your spotty memory, B, the internet, sacred sanctuary of idiots and nutters.
Wallowing in racist conspiracy theories and the insane American movement and nutty fringe subculture that nurtures those theories.
Yeah, so right away, Rachel Maddow did, I think I played this clip before in one of my past shows, but she's getting paid to persuade her viewers, however few there are, that but they're usually the liberal Democrat Northeasterners, frankly, and she's already telling you that everybody who's a conspirator or doesn't believe the garbage that she's spewing on TV is a racist and a fringe nut job. Okay, same thing with the clip before, where from the movie Manchurian Candidate, which I'm going to get into a little bit on this show as well. So they're all telling you that everybody who doesn't believe this garbage that you're being told on TV about everything and anything and everything, then you're a conspiracy theory nut job, and frankly, you're going to see that you'd have to be an absolute moron nut job in order to actually believe the crap that they're telling you. So, but I'm going to state my case, support my case on the show. So let's keep it rolling.
What's your name, sweat stain?
Bashir?
Bash here? I love a kid that comes with directions.
This is Syrious.
Who knows what shit will be peddled for truth on this network?
He's got to be extremely dim-witted. A beautiful, self-absorbed simpleton who can be manipulated and molded like Jell-O.
Now, I'm against chemical weapons, and I don't care who knows it.
Okay, so there's your man, self-absorbed Bill Maher, and he's going to say, "Well, I'm against chemical weapons. I don't care who knows it." What's going on there, folks? Is that so? He's going to say, "Well, so if you if you don't agree with him on everything, then you must be for chemical weapons." And there's it's all in the media. They're going to throw out that false debate once again. I'm like, whether or not do you think chemical weapons are good or not, or should be allowed or not? And obviously, anybody can tell you that killing people indiscriminately in any regard, whether it's conventional or chemical or any weapon, okay, is wrong. And we try to make it so, well, maybe this way of killing isn't as bad as that way of killing, in order to perpetuate the constant war or threats of war or stuff that to manipulate you through fear and through uncertainty and fear, more or less. Keep it rolling.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I'm Bart. I'm Bashir. My family and I just moved here from Jordan. Jordan, that's on some map somewhere, right?
There you go. And so the Simpsons had a show several years ago in their 20th season. I don't remember what year that is. But it was about and where Bart meets a Jordanian or Arabic kid named Bashir, and it's unbelievable. And they even talk about a gas attack in the show, and I will play that clip for you as well. But it's very strange the way they happen to, and if you do remember, they used to call Bashar Al-Assad. That's another way of just, they always jumble these people's names and make them into scary Al-Assad, Al-Libi, and this and that, just to stoke your animosities and your hate and your fears of Arab Muslim terrorist extremists, which they've built up in your head as something that you should be scared of. And frankly, we're going to try to get rid of all those stereotypes and all those predetermined fears that have been planted and pounded into your head. And believe me, I see it every day, every single day. So now, so Bart meets a kid named Bashir. Let's keep it rolling. He's from Jordan. Well, I'm gonna play that one again because he's like that's on a map somewhere, isn't it?
I'm Bart. I'm Bashir. My family and I just moved here from Jordan. Jordan, that's on some map somewhere, right?
The United States and the Jordanians have troops massed on the Syrian border who are anti-Assad forces.
That's what it's done to Jordan. It's unbelievable. 1 million people sitting there. What is that? Perhaps undermining the Hashemite kingdom.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so Chris Matthews, that psychopath, is saying that we're worried about undermining the Hashemite kingdom, the Jordanian king. I guess he's a Hashemite, whatever that is. I'm really worried. I'm an American. I'm really worried about the stupid king of Jordan, that jerk off. Okay, and he's like and we're so worried about all these people who are. I mean, at least for whatever it's worth, and I'm going to get into who Bashar Al-Assad is. I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that he's not who they portray him to be either. But Chris Matthews is already telling you that we're worried about the Hashemite kingdom. Okay, like that's somebody we should be backing, and a king, another king. Okay, like we're bowing to the Queen of England which I played that clip over and over. I might have to dust it off and play it for you again in this show because it's just. So anyway, Chris Matthews is worried about the king of Jordan. Like, oh no, that might undermine the Hashemite kingdom.
That's what it's done to Jordan. It's unbelievable. 1 million people sitting there. What it's perhaps undermining the Hashemite kingdom. Well, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So, how did you two meet?
We met while studying at Jordan University of Science and Technology.
Ah, interesting. Like just the other day, I was reading that science is used to make bombs.
There you go. And so, so anybody who's of Arab descent is already is a terrorist in the media, in the American media's and the global media's point of view, to the point that even the Arab people believe it. All this crap. We're going to keep it going. I'm going to start forming the case for this show that we're talking about Syria. I'm saying you can't possibly be serious with this crap, and let's keep it going.
This is America, and in America, we don't just bounce from one manufactured crisis to another.
Okay, there you go. Well, no, we don't make manufactured crisis, meaning made up. I would argue that means made up. No, we don't do that. Of course not.
This is America, and in America, we don't just bounce from one manufactured crisis to another.
Which, what I would argue in general, when any word out of these people's mouths, any politician's mouth, is usually the opposite. So that means that's exactly what we're doing. We're bouncing from manufactured crisis to another. This Syrian thing is outright a manufactured false crisis, and we're going to keep it going from there. And for the record, anybody who knows me personally or has chatted with me recently will know that whenever anybody asks me about the Syrian issue, I always told them that nothing's going to come of this because there's other underlying reasons for all this giant rollout bonanza debacle nonsense, and that's what I'm going to show you in this show, not what you're being already told in the media, which is all lies, obviously. Keep it going.
Terrorists depend on the idea that we're going to be terrorized.
Global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, 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 terrorism. The evil terrorists. Terrorists, 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 terrorists.
That's gonna scare you, believe me.
And these manufactured, fabricated acts of terrorism are used in a propagandistic way to justify the wars against terrorist countries. And, of course, also, they're being used to create a police state.
Yes, you're living in a police state. Your government is evil.
The U.S. has cut off electricity, water, and gas.
No matter how many times you save the world, it always manages to get back in jeopardy again. I mean,
the Syrian regime must be stripped of all its chemical weapons. And that would make our entire region a lot safer.
what are we doing here, Bob? We're protecting people.
Oh yes, we're protecting people, and what I want you to try to keep your eye out for is that all this stuff, all this propaganda that you're being spewed at or spilled all over you or just dumped all over you is all coming from these people who are brought to you by the media to and by the world government criminal cabal. These people are representatives of those things, and all of them are the ones who are telling you about terrorism, are telling you about the same people are telling you about all the lies, okay? When you heard that terrorism clip, it was Giuliani, it was Cheney, it was Obama, it was Bush, it was every front man and focal point to all this garbage propaganda and lies. And you have to understand that that's all it's coming from is these same exact Clinton, Bush, all these same lying criminals, okay? And people have to understand that isn't it obvious by now? Isn't it obvious that that's what they're doing? Isn't it obvious, okay? And I'm so glad that I did the show about Al Qaeda for Dummies, because the one thing that you're going to see in this Syria show is that there is an unbelievable push towards like just keep Al Qaeda. It's Al Qaeda. I guess they did some focus groups or something, and they decided that the American people are still, they hear Al Qaeda and they turn on and they go on to autopilot moronville or something like that, because you just hear they just say Al Qaeda for anything, and you believe it for anything, and that's for absolute morons too. And I did a whole show on it. You can go back and listen to that. By the way, my show is now on iTunes also, so you guys can subscribe to that. On iTunes, it's free. The funny thing is that I'm bringing that up about is that all my friends are telling me, "Oh, Max, I don't want you to compromise me." I'm like, like they're afraid that their boss might find out that you listen to my show or something like that. And I wear that as a badge of honor, frankly. But it is kind of pathetic that that's where we're at. That people are worried about listening to my stupid podcast. That they think, and that is a kind of a compliment to me, meaning that I must be doing something controversial. I must be right or something for everybody to be so worried about anybody finding out that they even listened to my thing. I mean, if I was irrelevant, I guess that wouldn't be possible. So I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I'm compromising you at your job. Keep it going.
If your nose starts bleeding, it means you're picking it too much.
Right. That's so. Yeah. So and the the police state and these agendas that are being perpetrated by these fabricated and just made up basically terror acts and of course real terror acts that they actually perpetrate upon us. All of this stuff is being run by a bunch of friggin' criminals who are trying to turn us all into slaves, and I'm sorry, but that's always been the thread of these shows, and it's going to continue to be the thread of these shows because it's right goddamn there in your face, okay? And people have to start waking up to this because this is not going to end well for anyone. If you think this is all fun and games, it's not. We're talking, terrorists. We're talking about Syria. Let me keep going.
The only terror I've seen is the government's people on their own people, because I don't see any terrorists around.
There you go.
How many personal freedoms are we willing to give up in the name of security?
And congratulate you on living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
The government told them Al-Qaeda did it, and that's the end of the story.
That's where you've completely gone wrong. That's where you've suddenly gone amiss. That's the juncture that's headed you into a blind alley.
And whatever is going to happen that they're going to blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it.
There you go. And what they're going to blame it on Osama bin Laden. They're going to blame it on Al Qaeda. Now I'm going to do you a little compilation that I made myself, and it's only clips from this very show where they're all on Syria. And let me show you, listen to how many, and I'm sure I missed dozens of them, but let me show you, listen to how many Al-Qaeda's come up from Bashar Al-Assad, from every single person involved in this Syria discussion, so to speak, or if you want to even call it that. It's a serious rollout propaganda job, snow job, if you will. And just listen to me. This is all these Al-Qaeda clips are from this very show, and you're going to hear them all again coming throughout the show and contextualized. But here you go.
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Pakistani Al-Qaeda. Saudi Al-Qaeda. 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 Al-Qaeda of youth. Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda.
You mean Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda affiliates. Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda.
It was Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda's affiliates, AQAP. Al-Qaeda. 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 Al-Qaeda and its associated forces.
Al-Qaeda and Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, all the Al-Qaeda affiliates.
And whatever is going to happen that they're going to blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it.
You mean Al-Qaeda? Because we're basically arming Al-Qaeda.
We're talking about the Syrian situation, Iran, North Korea, Al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden is dead.
So after I took office, we stepped up the war against Al-Qaeda. We relentlessly targeted Al-Qaeda's leadership.
If the American administration wanted to support Al-Qaeda, go ahead. That's what we have to tell them. Go ahead and support Al-Qaeda. The majority of fighters now are Al-Qaeda. If you want to support them, you are supporting Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda draws strength from chaos, and we will essentially be the allies of Al-Qaeda. So the chance that Al-Qaeda...
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in.
Al-Qaeda is in many ways stronger than it was before 9/11 because it's mutated and it's spread and it can come at us from different directions, and Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula is probably the most deadly of all the Al-Qaeda affiliates.
Iraq has turned into an Al-Qaeda sanctuary, a movement back and forth from Iraq and Syria.
I can guess is a bin Laden organization or something of similar nature.
We said the majority, the vast majority, are Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda offshoots, organizations in this region. When you talk about Al-Qaeda, it doesn't matter if he's Syrian or American or from Europe or from Asia or Africa. Al-Qaeda have one ideology and they go back to the same leadership in Afghanistan or in Syria or in Iraq.
Most people don't believe the majority of the forces are Al-Qaeda. Yes, there's a number of people who are Al-Qaeda affiliates and who are here who subscribe to the principles of Al-Qaeda.
Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him.
Definitely the majority are Al-Qaeda. This is what concerns us, not the nationality. If you have Syrian Al-Qaeda or Pakistani Al-Qaeda or Saudi Al-Qaeda, what's the difference? What's the matter? The most important thing is that the majority are Al-Qaeda.
We write his part and he plays it.
Yeah. And I said, how are you going to convince people that this war is real? He said, but the media can convince everybody it's real. I mean, you know, it's just that you keep talking about things, you keep saying it over and over and over again, and eventually people believe it.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in.
Obama himself appeared yesterday in back-to-back interviews with 6 separate networks.
There you go. Obama, 6 separate networks. He's like, Al-Qaeda, and now they're saying that Al-Qaeda's in, and liar Alex, you know, even liar Alex Jones is supposed to be representing the people and the those people who ask questions. He goes on and on about they're from the Al-Qaeda, it's Al-Qaeda, it's Al-Qaeda. And I just did the whole show on it. Check it out. It's called Al-Qaeda for Dummies. And if you believe this garbage, okay, you're an absolute moron. Now, so why is Bashar Al-Assad supposedly the enemy? And I also played that clip about how some doofus reporter waltzes in to interview him because right when he's in the middle of a so-called war criminal chemical attack on his own people, where we're thinking of bombing him and attacking his country, but he's still doing in the same days, in the same week, he's still doing live interviews with Charlie Rose, okay, and on global television, and so Charlie Rose can go find him and have a nice chat with him while we're talking about attacking his country and killing innocent people. If he was such a war criminal and we were so worried about him, why wouldn't we just grab him? Which is what has been talked about over and over and over again. But you see, rather than to grab him and to settle this and to stop the violence or whatever they say he's so-called perpetrating. No, we're interviewing him to give you more propaganda garbage, okay, about this whole situation. Now, Bashar al-Assad, okay, I will tell you right now, and I played a clip in there from Ehud Barak, who's a former prime minister of Israel, and the reason I put that in there is because I'm a Jew. I was raised in a Jewish town with loads of Jewish people all over the place my whole life. I know an Israeli accent when I hear one, okay? I know an infinite amount of Israeli people, and Ehud Barak sounds so similar to Bashar Assad's speaking accent or candor that I wouldn't even be surprised if they're related. They sound so similar. I think I played a clip in there with Ehud Barak. You probably thought it was Bashar al-Assad. So let me play that again.
I can guess is a bin Laden organization or something of similar nature.
We said the majority, the vast majority, are Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda offshoots, organizations in this region. When you talk about Al-Qaeda, it doesn't matter if he's Syrian or American or from Europe or from Asia.
And Bashar al-Assad is talking about how he's got Syrian Al-Qaeda in his country. So what I'm going to tell you, folks, and this is about as obvious can be. Bashar al-Assad is certainly not any some sort of a. He is a dupe. He is a complicit participant in this hoax. I believe that he sounds Israeli to me, frankly, and I believe that this has nothing to do with the with his, they call him his so-called father, Hafez al-Assad. That guy is an imposter, and he's somebody who's planted in there to be a front man for a criminal world government that operates behind the scenes. And Bashar al-Assad is just one of the many fake leaders that we have out there that have been going on for years and years and years and years. How they have all kinds of set up people that they put in there, and they claim that this is the son of this one and this one is that one, and I don't believe a goddamn bit of any of it. Okay, and I'm telling you that the way that he's and al-Assad's like blaming everything on Al-Qaeda, like all of a sudden now Al-Qaeda's they're anti-Arab and anti-Muslim, which doesn't make any sense either, because they were supposed to be Arab Muslims to begin with. And of course, and again, why are we putting Charlie Rose out there to interview him if he's such a terrible war criminal? Why is it even, but why do we need to put him out there like that, to give him all that time on TV? And you know why? Because this has nothing to do with that. It has to do with just continually propagandizing your moron ass and into believing this garbage. And I want to show you on the show and support it very strongly that none of this stuff makes any logical sense at all, and it's just nonsense. And why everybody embraces it, everybody just believes every stupid little thing these people say is just beyond me already, okay? Because this one's ridiculous again. Let's just keep it going from there. So Ehud Barak has a heavy Israeli Hebrew American English accent, and so then he has it's identical to Bashar al-Assad's accent. And I know plenty of Arabic people who live in New York. We got all kinds of different nationalities and ethnicities in this city, this big city in my city, and I'm telling you that Arabic people, I speak to Arab people every day because I take taxis. A lot of there's Arabic guys who have businesses. There's Arabic guys who from Yemen, from Syria, even they don't have the Israeli accent like that. This isn't Bashar al-Assad has an Israeli accent, some twisted Israeli accent, and he talks like he's sometimes even sounds like Jackie Mason or something like that. He's got so much of a Jewishy style to him. I'm just saying, I'm not, this has nothing to do with like anything anti-Jewish or Israeli or anything like that. I'm just saying that this guy is not, an Arabic, guy at all, and for a multitude of reasons, and one of these going on and on about Al-Qaeda and Syrian Al-Qaeda and this and that and the other one, which is all the stuff that we need him to say to propagandize the absolutely brain dead TV worshipping American populace, and we have them all out there, and all they do is just go out there and just tell you a bunch of lies, and people just gobbling. People can't even see what's going on. Well, enough me yapping. I'm going to show you what's going on. Let's keep it going.
I can guess is a bin Laden organization or something of similar nature.
We said the majority, the vast majority, are Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda offshoots.
Most people don't believe the majority of the forces are Al-Qaeda. Yes, there's a number of people who are Al-Qaeda affiliates.
Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew, waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him.
We write his part and he plays it.
Yeah. And I said, how are you going to convince people that this war is real? He said, but the media can convince everybody it's real. I mean, it's just that you keep talking about things, you keep saying it over and over and over again, and eventually people believe this.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in.
What a shame. What a crying shame. How in the world could this country of all nations breed such a dumbed down, unthinking, illiterate, uneducated, stupid, ignorant population?
Salam alaikum!
Dad, that's Bashir, my new friend.
Why would Assad attack his own people? Well, he is a dictator and he's a fascist, that if it's to his benefit to do so, he will do so.
Dictator and a fascist. That sounds like the people we know.
I am not a dictator. I'm the president.
Everything they could say bad about a dictator, they're now saying about you.
Is opposing country or government by beheading, by barbecuing head, by eating the hearts of your victim? Is that opposition? What do you call the people who attacked the 2011th of September? Opposition?
Okay, so Bashar Al-Assad's talking about, again, Mr. Dupe himself is talking about 9/11, and he believes that crap. He believes that crap of all people. Okay, somebody who's a Muslim, Arabic Muslim, he believes that that Arab Muslims did 9/11 and Al Qaeda did 9/11. Again, so what is he towing that line for? Unless he's a totally fake presentation of a fake leader of a representing a shadow world government. Again, I mean, he's barbecue. He's talking about barbecue, Al Qaeda barbecuing heads, eating. And I'm going to show you where they're talking about eating these Al Qaeda. So everybody, and what we do is because Americans love they think we've been told we're so great that that everybody else on earth is a rapist, cannibal, psycho, murderer, and they all want to kill you, your stupid fat ass who sits around with your iPhone, your $500 iPhone, which costs $8 to make. I wouldn't even doubt if it costs less than that. That's for sure. All it is stupid, board with a digital board with a bunch of a bunch of computer parts on it. Just whatever. I'm not an expert on how iPhones are made. Anyway, so Bashar al-Assad is talking about 9/11 now and Al Qaeda. I mean, are you kidding me?
Is opposing country or government by beheading, by barbecuing head, by eating the hearts of your victim? Is that opposition? What do you call the people who attacked the 2011th of September? Opposition?
I can guess is a Bin Laden organization or something of similar nature.
Again, Ehud Barak and Bashar have the same identical accent, and that's an Israeli accent, Israeli speaking English. That's how I've heard many Israeli sound just like that, including Bashar al-Assad and Ehud Barak. Never heard an Arabic guy talk quite like that.
Coincidence? I think not!
Wow. I bow before your logic.
The fundamentally decent American mind has been blinded to the fact that any group of men can be so evil and so completely devoid of all conscience.
Yeah, the average American, and including many of my good friends who I love dearly, they just can't believe that this is how ugly it is out there, and now that this is all theater for their stupid asses in order to rob you and to steal your bank account, steal your pension money, and bring you into a unelected total totalitarian dictatorship world government run by a bunch of total criminals coming out of of course, the the United Nations, Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, all Rockefeller-based criminal operations, and we're sitting around doing one with our iPhones.
One of the hardest parts of my job is to connect Iraq to the war on terror.
Yeah, there you go. George Bush. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to connect Iraq to the war on terror because the Iraqi people, of course, had nothing to do with any of that stuff. And again, we can get into the Saddam Hussein thing, but that's who knows exactly what was going on with that either. It's not enough time in this show to go into that, but you got to question a lot of these so-called world leaders who we claim to be adversarial relationships to, including Putin, which is we're going to get into this show, and just about it, and the North Korean kid. I don't believe that kid has anything to do with the past North Korean leadership. This is all just theatrics for the dumbed down, mind-controlled, brainwashed, stupid sheeple of America and Europe and the world, who are just getting too much of their information straight from the TV without asking any questions or using any semblance of critical thought whatsoever.
He'll go and he'll fight, and I hope they will put him in the front lines.
Thanks a lot, Mom. My mother, folks.
Hey, Carl, got any idea what direction Mecca's in?
And the other thing we've got to do is to stop having these crises manufactured every month.
My government will work to prevent conflict and reduce terrorism.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand with me and raise your glasses as I propose a toast. To Her Majesty, the Queen, to the vitality of the special relationship between our peoples, and, in the words of Shakespeare, to this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England. To the Queen.
In the area where the terrorists control, they ban people from going to schools, ban young men from shaving their beards, and women have to wear, to be covered from top to toes, from head to toes. And let's say, in brief, they leave the Taliban style in Afghanistan, completely the same style.
Yeah, so now, again, Bashar Al-Assad is talking about, now he's talking about how they're like the Taliban and they're like Afghanistan. Again, he sounds like a war propagandist working for the United States, basically, period. And why? And then of course we're interviewing him with Charlie Rose on national television while he's supposedly being chased as a war criminal. So none of that makes any sense. It's because he's on our side and he's working with us and for us and along with us, and I don't think he has anything to do with with running any country at all except for a front man or maybe a face to wave to the crowd, and that's about it. Okay, because he's reading stupid scripts prepared by people wanting to get you to give you the runaround on some stupid manipulation with mixed in with terrorism and war garbage.
Namely rogue states. There are 5 of them: Iran, Iraq, Libya, North Korea. These kind of states should be treated as rogue states.
There's Ehud Barak again, sounding very similar to Bashar Al-Assad. Keep it going.
To go for smart bomb falling down a chimney, 2,500 missions a day, 100 days. One video of one bomb, Mr. Moss. The American people bought that war. War is show business. That's why we're here.
And one of the movies that I took a lot of clips from in this show is Wag the Dog, because it's about staging fake wars and staging fake and all kinds of fake propaganda to mislead people again and to manipulate them into the channels in which they wish to steer them. keep it going.
To go for. Smart bomb falling down a chimney. 2,500 missions a day. 100 days. One video of one bomb, Mr. Moss. The American people bought that war.
Right.
War is show business. That's why we're here.
War is show business. One video of one bomb. The American people bought that war. That's what he's bragging about that and goofing around. You can call that. And he's talking about the Gulf War. So he's talking about it like that's about some real history in that movie. And that's De Niro talking to Dustin Hoffman, and there you have it. Wag the dog. There's going to be several more clips like that.
There's video on YouTube where the terrorists clearly make trial on a rabbit and kill the rabbit and said, this is how we're going to kill the Syrian people.
Okay, so now Bashar's talking to you about a video on YouTube where they do a trial for a rabbit. Okay, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, and how stupid they think you're so dang stupid, and apparently you are, because when I speak to my friends, nobody picks up on any of these things. They just believe every bit of it, and it doesn't make any. I don't know, it doesn't even make any sense. How could you believe it? I mean, I'm not even sure what you believe. I'm not sure what to believe. Well, I'm going to show you why you're being manipulated, where it's going. So they're terrorists. There's a video on YouTube of a trial for a rabbit, and Bashar Al-Assad, what's he watching YouTube and scanning YouTube, and so we can bring that to Charlie Rose and tell him about that on his stupid show while he's being chased around as a chemical weapons bombing war criminal, murderer, child murderer, whatever. This stuff is so nonsensical and retarded. But again, I guess that's I've said that many times on my show, that's the way we like it. Stupid, real stupid.
No one disputes that chemical weapons were used in Syria. The world saw thousands of videos, cell phone pictures, and social media accounts from the attack.
All right, you see again that we're using consensus as science now. Nobody disputes it. We saw lots of videos, stupid videos, and cell phone pictures on YouTube and in the social media. That's Obama. So I'm like, oh, that makes it true. That makes it true.
No one disputes that chemical weapons were used in Syria. The world saw thousands of videos, cell phone pictures, and social media accounts from the attack.
Right, we saw those YouTube videos. Bashar Al-Assad's telling you about YouTube videos, and Obama's telling you about YouTube videos and social media videos and cell phone pictures, whatever that's supposed to mean. Well, that must be true then.
We're not like the American administration. We're not social media administration or government.
Right. So, and there's Bashar throwing out his social. We're not like social media people like you. Whatever. Yeah, you are. You're working together. It's not even working together. They're working for and just a theatrical employee of these lying propaganda spewing criminals who are trying to turn a free country and a free world or hopefully wanting to be free humanity into a bunch of brainwashed, drug-addled, vaccinated, brain-damaged slaves. And the way it's looking, I mean, because so few people have any clue what's going on whatsoever and had no ability for critical thought whatsoever, that's where we're going with this. And it's ridiculous.
Oh, put it on our TV, it's true. Put it on our TV, it's true.
Tell me what you mean by expect everything.
Expect every action.
Including chemical warfare?
That depends if the rebels or the terrorists in this region or any other group have it. It could happen, I don't know.
There's a little quasi fear mongering. He's if the rebels and there's rebels, there's terrorists. I know many Syrians that they live in New York now, and first of all, they're highly educated. They're very sharp people. They tend to be. The Syrians I know are all wealthy, and wealthy not from some criminal mafia type of business, but they have businesses. A lot of them that I used to know when I was younger, they have electronics businesses. I knew lots of Syrian people who were extremely successful and very like sharp business people and very well educated, and their kids were very polite and very sharp people, and so but now they got a bunch of rebels in the rebel held territories. I'm like since when is what neighborhood would you call in America a rebel-held territory? Or that's not where people don't. We don't say okay. We none of us agree with. I'm anti. I'm not. I'm a Dem. What do you think? We have Republican neighborhoods and Democrat neighborhoods? No. I mean, people are mixed in all over, and I would imagine. I've never been to Syria, but I would imagine it's very similar to that. None of this makes any goddamn sense. And I'm telling you that Bashar Al-Assad, or this guy who represents a guy named Bashar Al-Assad, is a total scripted actor playing a role, and so he just feeds you all the garbage along with and let me say one more thing is that every when it comes to this terrorism thing, and when it comes to this warmongering thing, or just the manipulation of the masses through fear and through terrorism and the war on terror and all this and military and attacking other countries. There is no Democrat or Republican. There is no right left. There is no side. There are no sides. Okay, it's every single person, whether on the left or the right, or if they're Chris Matthews or Rachel Maddow or they're Fox News, O'Reilly, and whatever, they're all in agreement. And whether it's a politician like a Rand Paul, who's Mr. Tea Party, so to speak, and or establishment congressperson like Boehner, and or a senator or a psychopath senator, right wing senator, or supposed like a McCain or a Lindsey Graham, they're all it doesn't matter who you are, okay, or the left side people, they're all like Pelosi, they're all on the same, they're all warmongering, they're all down with the same, like, oh, the terrorists are gonna come get us, they're all preaching that same garbage, or Obama for that matter. He's Al-Qaeda, the terrorists, Al-Qaeda, I'm here to protect you, and that's all, so you get it from all you do, they never disagree on that stuff, okay? That's because they're all working for the same criminals who are perpetrating the same garbage, okay? There's never a dissenting view. There's never anybody any answer, any questions about what's really going on. It's all like, just like everything they tell you. And they all tell you about 9/11, it was done by Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. They'll tell you about killing Osama bin Laden. So they're all liars, okay? Because we know, anybody with half a brain knows that 9/11 was not perpetrated by Arab Muslim terrorists, period. And you got to get that out of your head. And like, it comes up all the time. Never stops coming up. And they're Al-Qaeda. This Syria thing, they're Al-Qaedaing us to death. Okay, with everything. And both sides, again, Bashar al-Assad's talking about Al-Qaeda, and we talk about Al-Qaeda. I thought we're adversaries or something. It's just ridiculous, okay? Let's keep it going.
This is serious. This Bashir kid is Muslim, and therefore up to something.
Oh, put it on our TV, it's true. Put it on our TV, it's true.
Tell me what you mean by expect everything.
Expect every action.
Including chemical warfare?
That depends if the rebels or the terrorists in this region or any other group have it. It could happen, I don't know.
This is serious. This Bashir kid is Muslim, and therefore up to something.
So where are the real terrorists? So since there are not any, to keep the people afraid, they have to go out and create them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the war on terrorism, which is the main justification for waging a war of conquest, which is clearly acknowledged in military and national security documents, that war on terrorism is fabricated. It fabricates an enemy. The enemy is presented, there's the image of the enemy.
Fabricated acts of terror serve all of those purposes. And of course, the FBI and the Homeland Security have to justify their existence and their large budgets. They're not any real terrorist cases.
We can't just wait till the disaster happens.
Yeah, no, we can't wait till disaster happens. We have to fabricate it and create it, and because they can't no, because it'll never happen. There are no real terrorists. There are none of these things do happen. Okay, isn't anybody chemical gassing their own people. Okay, that's all nonsense. Okay, and if they do, it's run out of some very twisted secret op guys from the Western intelligence party people, and I promise you. So we can't just wait for something from being real to happen. We got to make it up.
We can't just wait till the disaster happens.
Hell no.
It seemed to me the reason we were safe is President Bush put us on offense. That kept us safe.
Okay, so Bush kept us safe by putting us on offense. But 9/11 happened supposedly. Well, it happened during Bush's term, so I'm not sure how safe he was supposedly keeping us. But so that you see, that's the way to manipulate you into thinking that because people are going to say like, oh no, he didn't keep us safe. He did 9/11 against us because he's antagonizing or attacking, and that'll give you some to try to disparage some left wing person who's like, you see, that's what we're provoking them, we're antagonizing them. No. That was 9/11 was done by our own people. So they're playing again. They're playing both sides, okay, and they're trying to make it look like there's a conflict and there's a conflict between two sides when there isn't any, okay, and that's how the hierarchy always stays in power, by stoking both sides and getting people to fight with each other and to divide each other and to divide and conquer. That's going to be made clear to you in the show as well as I keep going.
I can remember as if it were yesterday when my young assistant came into my office at the White House to say that a plane had hit the World Trade Center, and then a second plane, and then a third plane, the Pentagon. And later we would learn that a plane had crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, driven into the ground by brave souls who died so that others might live.
It might happen. Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Yeah, I can't tell you how strongly I believe there were no airplanes, but not only airplanes, no missiles, no A-3s, no drones, no predators, no nothing. It was all just fakery.
It was all just fakery. That's John Lear again, Learjet himself, telling you he says, I don't know, I can't tell you how sure I am there was no planes. But then you have Condoleezza Rice during the Republican National Convention, only a year and a half ago or whatever, where she was like planes and planes and planes. Again, they just parade these people out in front of you to propagate the lies that they need you to know to manipulate you in the way that they want to manipulate you in. And so they're going, and it's the same people like, oh yeah, and so Obama's like, we know this is for sure. This happened. I promise you. And now we're going to go into like everybody telling you, yes, I promise you this happened. Well, let's keep it going. You're going to see some more garbage first.
We write his part and he plays it. Yeah.
This is the war that's going to support Al-Qaeda and the same people that kill Americans in the 11th of September.
Okay, so Bashar al-Assad's talking about Al-Qaeda and 9/11, okay, and on Charlie Rose again. I'm not sure how much more ridiculous you'd like it to me, so I thought he's chemical weaponing his own people. I thought he's one of the bad guys. I thought he's in with Al-Qaeda. I thought he's in with the terrorists, okay? So he's a lone terrorist terrorizing his own people. For what reason, nobody knows, because he's claiming he's against the other terrorists that we have. So it's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so which side is who is he? What side is he on? He just feels like killing his own people, and we're going to go in there, and then we're going to fund, and then they're going to tell you, and then Alex Jones will tell you about how they're funding Al-Qaeda, where the American government's funding Al-Qaeda, and you'll hear other politicians even say stupid things like that. Bill Maher will say things like that, and then Bashar al-Assad's like, oh yeah, the Al-Qaeda's Syrian Al-Qaeda, listen, anybody who says the words Al-Qaeda, okay, is a lying criminal, lying propagandist jerk-off, period, okay? Period. All right? Because there's no such thing as Al-Qaeda. This is all a fabrication to manipulate your stupid iPhone diddling ass. And I'm sorry I'm getting a little bit emotional here, but this is I'm not sure how much more obvious it can be, but you know what? I haven't even shown you the obvious parts yet, so let me just keep it going.
We write his part and he plays it. Yeah.
There you go. And keep it going on that note.
9/11 was bad.
I agree with that.
God, I can't believe how easy this is.
Mrs. Griffin, what are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
Mrs. Griffin, what about our traffic problem?
9/11.
As you can probably see on the screen now, they show fluent Farsi speakers dressed in military fatigues on the ground in what appears to be Syria. It looks like Syria. There are Syrians around. There's all the debris of war, etc. And they appear to be directing soldiers, directing the fighting.
Okay, so this is BBC now. He's like, well, there's Farsi speakers. Or if you look at the screen, there's Farsi speakers around. Okay, like what am I supposed to like? I can tell by what am I reading their lips or something in Farsi? So that's absurd. And then they're directing soldiers and he's like it would appear it looks like Syria, or it looks like Syria. Like what? Because there's debris around. I'm like, what about a movie set? Okay, I mean, what about some sort of a sound stage? Okay, that's all you need. Okay, then I'm like, yep, that looks like Farsi to me, or looks like soldiers. They're directing soldiers, directing meaning like it's a movie. Again, they're going to give you that what you call plausible deniability. Again, well, it might be. It looks like it's Syria. Could be. That's the best you're going to get from BBC and all these people, and including Obama and including our own politicians. Like, well, but they made a good case for it, or there's good information, or we're pretty sure he did it, but we'll get you back to you later with more information.
I put this thing together out of spit and polish. Look at that. That is a complete fucking fraud, and it looks 100% real.
That was Dustin Hoffman from Wag the Dog, where he was saying that, he made up this stupid war, and he's like, look, it looks real.
In what appears to be the headquarters or command quarters of this group, there's a sign that says, using code language will make the enemy lose hope for eavesdropping. And through
Okay, so now BBC is going to tell you that there's a headquarters of this group or something, some group, okay, like some Al-Qaeda or rebel group, he says they have a sign, I guess it's on the wall, like, oh, by the way, speaking code, because they're going to try to eavesdrop. And there's a sign. Where was that sign posted, by the way? It's just for idiots, okay, for dummies.
In what appears to be the headquarters or command quarters of this group, there's a sign that says, using code language will make the enemy lose hope for eavesdropping. And throughout they seem to be speaking in code and military speak. One interesting code says, the camel has become pregnant, so who knows what that means.
The camel has become pregnant code, okay? And BBC's like, whatever. Again, they think you're an absolute moron, and how this could be portrayed as news on a so-called reputable global news agency like BBC just shows you that how stupid they think you are, and how stupid this whole thing is, and all the nonsense that revolves around it. So there's the camel is pregnant. That's the code, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Say anything they want, you say, and they'll follow, because we are the docile masses. We're the puppet people. Oh, put it on our TV, it's true. Put it on our TV, it's true. We're the puppet people.
One video of one bomb falls down a chimney, blows up the building. The building could have been made out of Legos.
Again, the building could have been made out of Legos. In other words, they could have done that on a little sound screening studio, and you would never have known the difference. And that's De Niro in Wag the Dog again bragging about that.
But these things happened. The facts cannot be denied.
These things happen, I swear to you. It's, Obama, what is that supposed to be? These things happen. The facts can't be denied. They happen, I swear to you. See, you wouldn't have to say that if the facts or the evidence spoke for itself. But he's like, no, I'm telling you, this happened, okay? In case you're doubting it, this happened. And again, they have, so Condoleezza Rice, like, there was planes, I swear to you, and Bashar Al-Assad's like, it's Al-Qaeda, it's 9/11, and then, and Obama's like, this happened, I'm telling you.
No question the Syrian dictator Assad kills women and children at will. No question Iran is helping him do it. The evidence is strong that Assad violated the Geneva Convention by using poison gas to kill civilians. Thus, he is a war criminal.
Okay, so the war criminal, he's like the evidence is clear, and he definitely, no doubt he did it, and no doubt he's a war, and then he's using this progression, like he's like using logic. He's like, thus, he's like, there's no doubt he did it, so thus that means, and he guesses that mean, and he definitely doubt. He doesn't present any evidence. He just says, and he definitely did it, so that means he's definitely a war criminal, and that means that Charlie Rose is this guy's going to kill his own people, but Charlie Rose is going to waltz in and like interview him at his house or something, and like Charlie Rose isn't worried about anything. No, man, and then they're going to disparage Bashar al-Assad, and then Bashar al-Assad's going to blame it on Al Qaeda and tell you about and talk about how Al Qaeda did 9/11 in the interview with Charlie Rose. While he's being chased for chemical weaponing, casting his own people. I mean, I'm not. And Obama's like, I swear to you, this happened. And O'Reilly's like, yep, it happened. I'm telling you. And keep it going.
No question the Syrian dictator Assad kills women and children at will. No question Iran is helping him do it. The evidence is strong that Assad violated the Geneva Convention by using poison gas to kill civilians. Thus, he is a war criminal.
He goes, the evidence is strong.
What am I making? I need you to help me make a fake movie.
That's from the movie Argo, where he's like, I need you to help me make a fake movie. Okay, everybody's doing it. That's how they work it now.
Tonight we have a real terrifying film for you, a scary movie.
I'm poor, I'm dirty, I can't read or write, I think movies are real.
He's poor, dirty, I can't read or write. He goes, and I think movies are real. that's the average lowbrow American on The Simpsons.
Reshape reality and manufacture consent.
A Hollywood set designer was brought in to create a $200,000 backdrop for official war briefings.
Okay, so that was Tom Brokaw's telling you that a Hollywood set designer was brought in to make a fancy backdrop so they could present to you war briefings. Isn't that again along the same lines as we're doing? This is all theatrics. This is all Hollywood. This is all movies, and this is and all these people are scripted actors in this stupid nonsense that you guys just gobble down.
If you want to sell a lie, you get the press to sell it for you.
If you want to sell a lie, you get the press to sell it for you. Isn't that nice?
To protect our city from all future bombings, dirty, clean, dive, or carpet, we have hired an outside consultant from London, England.
Does he have a cute accent?
Why don't you be the judge, young lady?
Ooh, he sounds just like Paddington Bear.
Americans are suckers for that cute, as Marge Simpson calls it. Does he have a cute accent? He's like, well, why don't you be the judge of that, young lady? Again, that's all you need is give him an iPhone app and a British accent, and you just tell him any stupid garbage about 9/11 and Al Qaeda and this and that, and people will just gobble it down whole, believe it, and we'll move on. And so now, why are they doing that? We're going to get to that.
The Prime Minister says he's come here with evidence provided by the laboratories at Porton Down that deadly sarin gas was used in Damascus.
The laboratories at Porton Down. I looked up Porton Down. It's some sort of British military laboratory or something like that at Porton Down. And again, and people just gobble that stuff up, and that's the appealing to, like, oh yeah, I think I'm intellectual or something like that. Anyway, keep it going.
I wasn't like every other kid, who dreams about being an astronaut. I was always more interested in what bark was made out of on a tree.
There's an American analogy.
So many people in this country have their heads so far.
American anecdote, not analogy. Play that again.
I wasn't like every other kid, who dreams about being an astronaut. I was always more interested in what bark was made out of on a tree.
So many people in this country have their heads so far up their ass, I doubt very seriously if they will manage to extricate it before they suffocate.
Oh, you'd hate to see something like that at an event like this. Ugly protesters bothering beautiful people.
Yeah, I hate to see ugly protesters bothering beautiful people.
Yesterday, the United States presented a powerful case that the Syrian government was responsible for this attack on its own people.
Okay, we presented, again, here's that element of doubt or the plausible deniability. Well, we did present a powerful case. That doesn't mean it's true.
Our intelligence community has carefully reviewed and re-reviewed information regarding this attack.
Okay, that doesn't mean it's true either, but we did review it and re-review it. Okay, again, there you go. Every single line out of these people's mouth is plausible deniability. Like, well, we kind of we presented a good case. We reviewed it. We reviewed it twice. Must be true.
Everyone is united. The fact that now fairly widely agreed upon that there were chemical weapons used.
Fairly widely agreed upon. Everybody, we all agree that it's fairly widely agreed upon. Okay, there's the BBC for you also. Yeah, we all have fun. It's fairly widely agreed upon. We double reviewed it. Here's another one, Obama now.
Nobody disputes, or hardly anybody disputes, that chemical weapons were used on a large scale in Syria against civilian populations.
He goes, nobody disputes. He goes, well, hardly nobody. There you go. There's your plausible deniability in that clip. Again, he goes, well, nobody disputes it. He goes, well, hardly nobody.
Nobody disputes, or hardly anybody disputes, that chemical weapons were used on a large scale in Syria against civilian populations.
Well, no, hardly anybody disputes. He won't even say nobody, affirmatively. Again, not that matters, because again, this is all consensus. Like nobody, we all agree that we did it. That's not science. That's not evidence. Okay, that's a poll. And then he won't even tell you that even in their poll, not everybody agrees.
There's no doubt about what he did, and more evidence will be forthcoming.
Okay, there's McCain now. There's McCain. He's like, there's no doubt what he did, but we don't have any evidence yet. More and more evidence will be forthcoming, but there's no doubt. I promise you.
Well, I think he made a good point that atrocities occurred. That there was something awful that happened.
Something awful happened. He made a good point that there was an atrocity. That's not saying it's true either. Rand Paul. He says no. Well, he made a good point there. Might have that atrocity occurred. No, he argued a good case that one occurred. That something awful occurred. No, we don't know what that. He didn't even say a chemical attack. He says just something awful occurred, and then he made a good case for that. That's again plausible deniability, and that's not saying it happened either. Again, so far I got like 6 people in a row who says, well, yeah, kind of, we think so, we double reviewed it. Obama's like, well, not everybody agrees, not everybody thinks so, but we think so, but not everybody, but most of us. All these, and McCain, all liars. Kerry, McCain, Rand Paul, all lying criminal politicians, just pathetic liars, okay, and Obama, of course.
A huge crime was committed. The president was on record saying that we would respond to it.
A huge crime was committed, whatever that means and whatever that is. Again, that's vague, and that's Zbig Brzezinski, a total lying psychopath.
We know rockets came only from regime-controlled areas and went only to opposition-controlled or contested neighborhoods.
Okay, so that's Kerry now. He's going to tell you what we know, okay, and that's another media technique. Like, well, we know this, and that's just to tell you, like, oh, that's what you know now, okay, because I said we know. There's no even discussion or evidence or any thing being presented. He just said, we know that, and then Rachel Maddow was going to say, yeah, we know.
It's a known process. It is knowable, and it is known.
It's a known process. It's knowable and it's known. There you go.
We know where the rockets were launched from and at what time.
We know that, too. We know where the rockets were launched from and at what time. Again, that doesn't mean that's not any evidence of anything either. Just, we know where they were launched from. We know that.
In Syria, it's the fact that he's used those weapons, and there's overwhelming evidence to that fact.
It's overwhelming evidence. That's from a liar like McCain. He said, but we're bringing the evidence. We just know that, there's overwhelming evidence, but we'll bring that later. We don't have it yet.
We know that the Assad regime has the largest chemical weapons program in the entire Middle East.
Oh, yeah, we know that, too.
There are known knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
There you go. And there's another liar, and trying to confuse it, of what we do know, what we know, what we don't know, and we know, but we think we know and we don't know. And so now, so far, everybody's just giving you this. Well, we're pretty sure, and we think so, but that's what this whole rollout stupid story is about. And it's just to give you the runaround like you're an absolute moron.
Now, how stupid can you be?
Shortly after those rockets landed, the gas spread, and hospitals filled with the dying and the wounded.
They've been lying about these chemical weapons forever. It's no question they used them.
Giuliani, another liar. There's no question they used them. Again, it's no question they used them. Whatever. Why do we even have to say that if that was the case? Again, that's just a very twisted way to say anything, and that's because we're dealing with, again, just lies, okay? And people are trying to say, well, there's no chemical, there was no chemical attack. I'm like, yes, first of all. And second of all, though, that this is not about a chemical attack, okay? This is going to be about, now I'm going to show you what this, so there's going to be problem, reaction, solution, okay? So we're going to have a problem, which is, there's a chemical attack. Reaction is like, we're going to have to roll it out in the news and say, we're going to have to, should we bomb them or not? Or kill, should we go after Assad or not? Meanwhile, he's doing, interviews with Charlie Rose on supporting our case of against Al Qaeda. He's against Al Qaeda and saying Al Qaeda did 9/11. I'm not sure how much more absurd you can get than that. And so that's the reaction, and then the solution will be more international United Nations government world government control over things and over and then we're gonna relinquish American sovereignty to the United, along with world global sovereignty of every country on earth, and certainly of course Syria's sovereignty to the United Nations, and that's what's going to be your solution. We need, what the solution is going to be? More United Nations, and I'm going to make that case for you too. So problem is Al Qaeda and Bashar al-Assad, who's a lone rogue chemical weapon using against his own people for whatever reason, while Al-Qaeda's in his country doing what? It just doesn't make any. Al-Qaeda's trying to take over the country and rule it as their own. Whatever. There's no. Meanwhile, Ivan Dollars over here. Yeah, we haven't heard from him. There's no evidence of any of this. It's all nonsense. Okay, and let's keep it going.
But now they say, their words, a butcher.
Okay, their words, whoever they are, and that's Charlie Rose calling Bashar al-Assad a butcher in his own interview, while he's not a butcher, he's a gasser. Whatever. This is so nonsensical.
This is the same guy that the president said 2 years ago must go.
Two weeks ago, we're comparing him to Hitler.
Yeah, so we're comparing him to Hitler. We're talking about taking him out for 2 years, and then he's doing interviews with Charlie Rose on national television. Again, and he's of course, like I just told you enough times already, and Bashar al-Assad is arguing like he's reading a script for us to read, rather than for him to defend his own case. He's talking about the new sect of Syrian Al-Qaeda, who and he's talking about 9/11 like he doesn't know that 9/11 was an inside job. And he's an Arab Muslim. Whatever.
We've also studied samples of blood and hair from people at the site that tested positive for sarin.
Bullshit is the glue that binds us as a nation.
Part of the reason we went into Iraq the main reason we went into Iraq at the time was we thought he had weapons of mass destruction. It turns out he didn't.
Yeah, we thought he did. No. That was all just a shim-sham to carry out our own, not our agendas, but these shadow government's agendas for their world government garbage. And we just made up a stupid story about WMDs, just like we made up a stupid story again about WMDs. And it works over and over, so you might as well just keep doing it, right?
Iran is the one that's going to gain if we do nothing.
I'm not fortune teller to tell you what's going to happen.
Right, that's Bashar Al-Assad just giving you that fear thing, the fear of the unknown, throwing that out there for you, like he's some sort of, and that's a very typical, like you'll see in the movies, like he's a rogue leader of a country, and he's like, you never know, I'm not what do I look like, a fortune teller to you, or whatever. But this is all again scripted by us to manipulate the people of the West, and especially the idiotic iPhone diddling people of America. Keep it going.
Men, women, children lying in rows, killed by poison gas. Others foaming at the mouth, gasping for breath.
Okay, now we have our president with all these theatrical and blown up like picturing or painting the pictures of horror and terror and things like that. Isn't that beautiful that our president is we have to get him out here to sell. We have to get him out here to sell all these stupid stories to people. That's how nonsensical and difficult to believe they are. Is that we need our president out there pumping us with nonsense.
And you're going to save our country now, in the hour of her greatest need.
This all comes at a time when no investigation has been conducted and no evidence has been found to prove that the Syrian government had any role in the chemical attack.
Okay, and that's a spin on another lying news agency, but they're like, the Syrian government had no role in the chemical attack because there was no chemical attack. How about that?
Assad's government gassed to death over 1,000 people, including hundreds of children.
Okay, that we need our Obama telling us he's the guy who has to sell the story to us, okay, because the story has no merit on its own. So we need the president of the United States out there just painting the picture, and I'm telling you, Assad did it.
The cameras didn't come too close. We write his part and he plays it. Yeah.
There you go. We write his part and he plays it. That's pretty much simple as can be.
We Americans still have a responsibility to stop mass murder when we can, as long as we don't damage our infrastructure in the process.
O'Reilly, he's just a maniac also. He's like, well, we do that. So he's trying to give you the Fox, like Fox is trying to say, well, we should, because Fox has to promote like that they're sort of war hawky, but then they're going to give you like this, we're libertarian, not war, and so we're anti-war unless it's a war that we want to do or some garbage like that. And he's like, oh well, we're obligated to, we have the responsibility to stop mass murder unless it injures our own infrastructure, whatever that's supposed to mean.
We Americans still have a responsibility to stop mass murder when we can, as long as we don't damage our infrastructure in the process.
I'm not sure what the hell that's supposed to mean. I'm sure it'll come to me. It has some underlying meaning or innuendo, but haven't really even sure what the hell that's supposed to mean.
You being your father's son, and you believe that the only way to drive out people is to eliminate them the same way your father did.
You're dead to me, boy. You're more dead to me than your dead mother.
Now, here's an interesting little phrase that Charlie Rose, who's, and of course he's a member of the CFR also, and he says, you being your father's son. Okay, so now what every son on earth is their father's son. Okay, so that's absolutely insanely ridiculous absurdity, okay, coming from a guy who's supposed to be a polished veteran, and he says, you being your father's son. So what I would argue, well, no, I'm sure that's the reason that they're doing that is to plant that he is the son of Hafez Assad, because he's not, okay? That's why they need to say, you being your father's son. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to, that's ridiculous, okay? Everybody's their father's son, okay?
You being your father's son, and you believe that the only way to drive out people is to eliminate them the same way your father did.
Again, he's trying to link Assad like that Hafez al-Assad was his father. There's no evidence of any of that, and like I said, he has a blatant Israeli accent, or he's just not. And he's reading scripts from which would be treasonous in his own country, and frankly treasonous in our country as well, which is even more ugly.
You're dead to me, boy. You're more dead to me than your dead mother.
We cannot talk about virtual thing. We have to talk about fact.
Okay, Bashir, tell us where you came from so we can punch you back there. I'm gonna punch you extra hard because I secretly think you're cute.
Okay, and again, The Simpsons with Bashir, and I'm going to show you a clip where they talk about chemical gassing nerve gas or something in the same Simpsons where they're talking about Bashir.
Instead of being tucked safely in their beds at home, we saw rows of children lying side by side, sprawled on a hospital floor, all of them dead from Assad's gas, and surrounded by parents and grandparents who had suffered the same fate.
Again, we don't have news reporters any longer reporting things. We have our politicians selling it to us, which is disturbing and which should be an outright red flag, okay, folks? You don't need your politicians selling you propaganda and garbage, okay, in order to sell you something that they're trying to pull off, or mislead you into thinking that they're selling you something that they're trying to pull off, because there was never any intention of attacking Syria, because this is not about attacking Syria. This is about what happens when we foil the attacker, when we get them to back down, and then we're going to say, then we're going to put you in the UN in charge of you, and frankly, the UN in charge of us, the UN in charge of our next move, which is so we're relinquishing our sovereignty and our country and our political system to a overseeing system, which is the world government, the unelected world government, Rockefeller-run world government, Queen of England, Rockefeller-run, global elite-run world government, and as Robert Welsh will tell you in the show later on, the communist world government.
My 5-year-old grandson, as I was leaving San Francisco yesterday, he said to me, "Are you yes, war with Syria? No war with Syria." I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "I think no war." Okay,
so Nancy Pelosi's talking about her 5-year-old grandson. Isn't that just great?
But this was indiscriminate, and children were killed, and people who said goodbye to their children in the morning didn't see them and will never see them again.
Charlie Rose, it's the children.
But this was indiscriminate, and children were killed.
A father clutching his dead children, imploring them to get up and walk.
Obama just shamefully and pathetically selling this dead children, it's for the children, the dead children thing. And again, we don't need our president selling us propaganda, which is exactly what he's. And you know why? Because nobody else believes anybody else, and somehow, for some strange reason, people still believe him. So they get him to go out there and do it, and because it's just. There's all kinds of semantics going on why that's the case, but that is the case, and we have Obama out there selling lies to us, of course.
Obama's speech last night, the magic word was children. Got to do this for the children. Children was the magic word in Obama's speech.
Okay, so then Limbaugh is going to take the other side and he's going to make his own self out to be like, and so people, the lefty people who want to believe Obama's like, it's for the children, then they're going to be like, you see, Limbaugh doesn't even care about children, and I'm going to tell you, don't believe either of them, okay, or any of them, because they're all just running, just playing your emotions and playing your fears and treating you like you're an absolute moron. Period.
You think these young women who have been gang raped as a matter of doctrine by the Syrian army aren't weary?
Okay, now the Syrian army is a bunch of gang rapers, okay? And again, I'm sorry, but this is enough already with this. Everybody who's not American is a gang raping, chemical weapon using on their own people, Al-Qaeda affiliate, psycho murderer, and but you look who's telling you that's a total lying jerk off like John McCain. But you're going to insist on believing him rather than using your brain and sitting down and using some critical thought and just take a look at what's going on, take a look at what they're doing, and why these people all parading in front of you selling you this garbage.
You think these young women who have been gang raped as a matter of doctrine by the Syrian army aren't weary?
But it was only 100 rapes.
Yeah, just 100 in a week.
Well,
it
wasn't a short week. You know what you're
leaving
leaving out here is most of them were gang rapes.
Glenn Beck, okay, who's the exalted Glenn Beck, who, as they say, gets paid all these hundreds of millions of dollars, he's telling you about the gang rapes too. This is this is absolutely absurd, okay? And this is what you're getting. And so now the Syrian army is a bunch of gang rapers too. Like, they have a lot of time for that. And they're gang raping their own people too. Right, their own neighbors and relatives. And that's where we're at these days.
They have evidence of a message that was intercepted about chemical weapons, and that soon thereafter there were other intercepted messages.
Okay, so Charlie Rose is going to get you all scared about intercepted messages, and that I've noticed works too, because my own friends are now like, oh, I'm afraid my boss is going to see that I'm looking at your website, Max, at work or something like that. You don't want, or maybe they're intercepting my email, so don't email me anything from maxrat.com. And I'm like, you guys get you all you guys all scared and all confused and all running around like morons, okay, while they bring in their world government and steal your bank account and enslave your ass and damage your children with vaccines and tell you got fake cancer and fleece you and murder you and your children and your loved ones and your families, and you guys are all just sitting back watching TV, calling me and telling me that I'm compromising you. No, you better start. If you don't start waking up and listening to what's really going on, you're already compromised, I promise you.
We have figured it out. Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again.
We know the Assad regime was responsible.
Oh yeah, we just know that. I don't know how we know that, but we know that.
You have become a master of lying and conniving.
Biological will be next. Mark my words.
I admit it. Everything I've said about terrorism till now was fear-mongering.
The ideas, the thoughts, and the opinions of the masses are being manipulated through fear.
We saw rows of dead lined up in burial shrouds.
Oh yeah, and Kerry just again selling you. Oh yeah, we should burial shrouds, whatever that. I'm gonna have to look that word. I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to mean. But again, just dramatic and theatrical, and that's what our politicians get. We pay them for, or we elect them for, or supposedly elect them for now, even though they're on. They just that's all elections are frauds anyway. Yeah, so they're out there just selling us this garbage.
I say, Ahmed, what is that thing you people do when you're about to assassinate an infidel?
Ah, you mean this?
Oh, God, yes, I love that.
I love that one actually. Yeah, that's again, that's your typical gang raping, infidel killing, Al Qaeda, Muslim terrorist, chemical weaponing using, psycho. With unlimited money supplies to pull these things off on killing their own brothers and sisters and relatives and just that's what we're doing. Gang raping.
The report said the attack was even more lethal because of the morning chill, pressing the air downward, pushing the gas into homes, killing victims in their sleep or in basement shelters.
Okay, so now another liar, Andrea Mitchell, who's Greenspan's wife, for whatever that's worth, she's gonna. And again, this is NBC, so you got ABC, NBC, Fox, right, left, Republican, Democrat, establishment, Tea Party, liberal, whatever you want to call. Everybody is pushing the same lies. Okay, which should make it very clear to you that they're all working on the same team. They certainly are all pushing the same propaganda and the same agendas. So that means they're all working together. And there's not a peep of anybody asking any questions about any dissent at all. In fact, if you are dissenting or if you mention anything like I might, you'd be called a fringe, racist, conspiracy theorist, nut job, wing nut. As they say there was another thing with the guy on CNN with the wing nuts. And I would say that if you believe this crap, you are I have a lot worse words I could use than wing nut, okay? How about absolute moron? Absolute moron, okay? Period.
This is pretty scary stuff, huh?
Absolute moron.
I say, Ahmed, what is that thing you people do when you're about to assassinate an infidel?
Ah, you mean this?
Oh, God, yes, I love that.
You had to have a lot of hubris to stage this obviously transparent lie that Assad had used chemical weapons.
No indication at all that the government, the authority of the Syrian government had used chemical weapons.
We know that Assad's chemical weapons personnel prepared for an attack near an area where they mix sarin gas.
Easy again. That's plausible deniability. It's like, well, they're in the area where they mix the it's like, yeah, I'm in New York City, so we have like the meatpacking district and the garment district. They have the sarin gas mixing district in the area where they mix the dreaded sarin gas mixing district in Syria. That was the area that they mix sarin gas in. Everybody's well known for mixing of sarin gas area.
This kind of behavior can't be tolerated.
No.
It's just fabricated.
It's just fabricated, and I'm sorry, but it's the sarin gas mixing. That's Obama. That's our goddamn president, folks. Okay, why he's out there. I mean, it's quite clear that he is doing that, and and you can't pick up on this. It's just pathetic, to say the least.
Why do you have such a stockpile of chemical weapons?
We never said that we have it.
I can't believe that till I see a fictional TV program espousing your point of view.
For the last time, Fire, where did you hide the nerve gas?
On the station of Liberty Stress, and she loved it.
Okay, that's The Simpsons in that same show where he's that was a little spoof on that show 24, and he's like, "Where'd you hide the nerve gas?" And he's like, "Under your Statue of Liberty's dress," and he with the Arabic sounding guy and he sounds more Arabic than Bashar Al-Assad sounds, frankly, but so they have nerve gas in the same show with the Bashir guy from Jordan, so to speak, who's Bart's friend.
I can't believe that till I see a fictional TV program espousing your point of view.
And then Homer says, "I don't see," who's known to be an idiot. Okay, he's like, I don't believe anything unless I see a stupid fictional TV show espousing your point of view, and then they'll show him a stupid TV show where they're looking for nerve gas, if you will.
I can't believe that till I see a fictional TV program espousing your point of view.
For the last time fighting, where did you hide the nerve gas?
On the Station of Liberty Stress, and she loved it.
There you go, and then she loves it, like he's dissing the Americans, and all that's just a big ball of nonsensical propaganda, and how the Simpsons knew several years ago that they're gonna have a guy named Bashir and nerve gas in the show. And how they knew about 9/11 also in earlier shows before 9/11. You tell me, but there's loads of stuff. And I mean, that show is this last show is eerily close to what's going on in real life, and and I would have to wonder about where they get all that information from, where the writers are getting all that stuff that they put in the scripts.
Last week, the president was 110% behind an attack.
And so Fox like, I thought we were attacking him.
Did you hear that speech? Did you thought we were going to launch an attack the next day? Me too. What the hell happened?
This guy's just a total idiot. Okay, Lindsey Graham was like, "You're about to, what the hell happened? I thought we were attacking him." Like what? So he's asking the American public? Like, I thought Obama said he was going to attack him. What happened?
The egregious use of chemical weapons by the Assad regime against innocent men, women, children, their own citizens.
Okay, and there's Kerry selling it.
If we don't confront this now, I promise the people of France and Europe and Americans, we're going to see this issue grow.
Okay, so, and he's doing the coalition thing. He's like, I promise the people of France, Europe, and Americans, France and Europe, and Americans, that we're going to be sorry if we don't do something about this. That was when he was, that was when Kerry was and Obama were both out there like, we have to do something about this. This is, and again, these people are politicians just selling this nonsense to us.
And I have very high confidence in John Kerry. I have to say that his performance over the last few weeks has been stunningly impressive. We have a Secretary of State who really is in charge of what is happening, who knows what is to be done, and he's providing a rhetorical as well as a practical leadership that is so important in these complicated days.
He's providing a rhetorical leadership. That means he's leading the way with the propaganda. He's rhetoric. He's providing the rhetorical leadership. That psychopath himself, Zbig Brzezinski, and he's thrilled with them, stunningly thrilled with Kerry's rhetorical leadership. Okay, and which is just psycho and pathetic and sick. Okay, and just in case you don't know who he is, here.
Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. It is easier to kill than to control.
He is one of our most outstanding scholars, one of our most outstanding thinkers. He has proven to be an outstanding friend and somebody who I've learned an immense amount from.
Okay, that's Obama praising the guy who wants to, he says, much easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control them.
Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. It is easier to kill than to control.
There you go.
Today, it is infinitely easier.
He is one of our most outstanding scholars, one of our most outstanding thinkers. He has proven to be an outstanding friend and somebody who I've learned an immense amount from.
It's also a function of the fact that our public, by and large, to be perfectly blunt but accurate, is woefully ignorant about the world.
And that's what he thinks of you also, Zbig. That's what Zbig thinks of you. He's like, and the public is woefully ignorant about the world, and that I'm a killing, murdering maniac working for founder of the Trilateral Commission and one of the top dogs at the Council on Foreign Relations, and he was one of the leaders of the world government criminal communist movement, and Obama's down with him, and they're all and then Kerry he's stunningly impressed with Kerry. Isn't that nice that they're all and who's out there selling garbage to us, along with Obama and every other politician in our whole dang government. And it's just sickening. It's just sickening.
The hundreds of such incidents that have been staged over the centuries to blame political enemies for attacks that they did not commit. The tactic remains in common use today and will continue to be employed as long as populations still blindly believe whatever their governments tell them about the origins of spectacular terror incidents.
This president and the Republicans, it's the Democrats and the Republicans, the progressives, trust this demented terrorist with weapons.
Okay, so Glenn Beck is going to play it down the middle and say, like, and just tell you that, yes, they're all on the same, everybody's working on this. The Republicans and Democrats are all talking about Al-Qaeda, and then they're talking about, and he's talking about they're funding the terrorists, and they're funding Al-Qaeda. This is all, and Al-Qaeda doesn't exist. So, and so Glenn Beck and Alice Jones, the two conspiracy jerk-offs, will be like, oh, they're funding Al-Qaeda. I mean, we're funding, and then Bashar Al-Assad, he's anti-Al-Qaeda. He's 9/11. He's talking about Al-Qaeda did 9/11 on a Charlie Rose interview. That after they say he just chemical weapon attacked people, and then we're going to hear all the politicians say, well, we think he chemical weaponed them, or so that's what most people think that, or we all agree on that, but with no evidence of any kind at all except nonsense. And then there's a big news going to tell you that Z. Big Brzezinski is going to tell you that Kerry is a rhetorical leader. Isn't that nice? Is that just oh, thanks, Kerry.
Seems a bit unstable.
I prefer to think of it as misunderstood.
Aren't we all?
Only the regime could have carried out this large-scale chemical weapons attack.
Only the regime could have carried this out. Yeah, that's fact.
You've succumbed to the propaganda of every cement-headed clod up and down this street. I said propaganda.
You succumbed to this propaganda, that's for sure.
If we're going to fool these people, it has to be big.
That was from the movie Argo, where they were doing a fake movie. It's like, if we fool these people, it's got to be big. The Goebbels, the Nazi propagandist leader, said that, the bigger the lie, the more that, bigger the lie, the more they're going to believe it.
If we're going to fool these people, it has to be big.
You watch the go for. What do you see day after day? The one smart bomb falling down a chimney. The truth? I was in the building when we shot that shot. We shot it in a studio, Falls Church, Virginia, 1/10 scale model of a building.
Is that true?
How the fuck do we know? You take my point?
Yes.
There you go, plausible deniability. He's like, I was in the studio when we shot a scale model of that bombing, and all Americans believe it. And then Dustin Hoffman, the producer's like, is that true? And he's like, how the fuck do we know? And he said, you get my point? You get my point? It doesn't matter. We got the plausible deniability in there, and that's all you need. And then you're just moving on. And that's what everything in this whole stupid story is about. And it's right in your face. Period.
Listen to this video, Senator McCain, of a Syrian, it looks like a fighter jet being shot out of the sky. Listen to what they say afterwards.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Where they got that video from, I have no idea. So Fox is like, Allah Akbar, and they're like, listen to this video, like where this guy's screaming what in his own homemade. He's like, what is this? With the terrorists send that into Fox from Syria, live in Syria? What? Are you kidding me?
Listen to this video, Senator McCain, of a Syrian, it looks like a fighter jet being shot out of the sky. Listen to what they say afterwards.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
And the guy just happens to get it all on tape. A fighter jet flying too low, getting shot out of the sky, and then the beautiful audio sound clip, and then they sent that into Fox. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, is that much? And that's on Fox, folks. Okay, that's proof that this is a crock of garbage.
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
I'm not crazy, but I do feel like, am I the only one who sees how absurdly ridiculous this is? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
They're handling VX munitions that are so dangerous that, quote, a drop of VX the size of George Washington's eye on a quarter is enough to kill a healthy 180-pound man within seconds.
Listen to this video, Senator McCain, of a Syrian, looks like a fighter jet being shot out of the sky. Listen to what they say afterwards. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
They're handling VX munitions that are so dangerous that, quote, a drop of VX the size of George Washington's eye on a quarter is enough to kill a healthy 180-pound man within seconds.
They have seen brutality by a dictator that they say
so we have
puts you in a category with the worst.
Yeah.
Between that and sarin, at Bluegrass, Kentucky alone, you've got 433 tons of that terrifying stuff stored there in preparation for it being destroyed. There's another 90 tons of blistering mustard gas.
Mustard gas, sarin gas, Rachel Maddow. That's the NBC side, and they're all okay. Everybody, and the FX gas. That's a big a drop the size of the eye on a quarter. George Washington's eye on a quarter.
They're handling VX munitions that are so dangerous that, quote, a drop of VX the size of George Washington's eye on a quarter is enough to kill a healthy 180-pound man within seconds.
What kind of twisted rhetoric or psychobabble is that? Okay, and this is what you're being told by the people who you seem to regurgitate to me about how you don't believe that. I'm like yeah. That's what you believe? Are you kidding me?
These are not opinions to be debated. These are facts to be dealt with.
Oh yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Okay, that's what I need you to tell me that also. I need you to hammer it home because these are facts to be dealt with, man. Max, what are you, crazy? Crazy.
Oh, put it on our TV, it's true. Put it on our TV, it's true.
Yes, sirree. Yes, sir. Put it on our TV, it's true. Put it on our TV, it's true.
And read for yourselves the verdict reached by our intelligence community about the chemical weapons attack.
Okay, he's like, read it for yourself. The verdict. Again, this is not evidence. It's just, look, this is what they said. It's a verdict.
I couldn't help but notice how logically you argue.
Yeah, unfortunately. Hope it doesn't go on deaf ears, as they say.
We can't afford a war.
We're not going to have a war. We're going to have the appearance of a war.
We cannot afford the appearance of a war.
What'll it cost?
But they would find out.
Who's going to find out? The American people?
Exactly.
Who's going to tell them?
Again, kidding around about how we're gonna have a fake war and a fake appearance of a war, and then in Wag the Dog, that's De Niro and Anne Heche, I think her name is, and he's like we can't afford a war. He's like we're not gonna have a war. We're gonna have the appearance of a war, and she's like, how are the people gonna know? He's like, who's gonna tell them? You? Nobody's going to tell him. No, I mean, who? Rachel Maddow, or Obama, or Kerry, or McCain, or O'Reilly, or who's going to tell him? Nobody. No, they're all telling you lies the opposite way. Every one of them. Okay, it doesn't matter what side you're on or what affiliation you think you have or don't have. It's all made up. Okay, and you're worried about the people, and people are like, the people would know. The people would find out. How come you're the only one who thinks this, Max? I mean, because you guys are all playing with your stupid iPhones, you're not paying attention, and you believe this. I mean, this is so hard not to believe. Like the size of the eye on George Washington. I bet you half the people took a quarter out of their pockets and looked at that to see how big the eye is. Just like I wouldn't even, and I promise you, I didn't even look at a quarter because I was like, I'm not doing that because that's what they want you to do. This is nonsense for morons.
Yeah, it's just one big state-sponsored network. CBS, Fox News, CNN, it's all the same. It's all government propaganda.
The government told them Al-Qaeda did it, and that's the end of the story.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, just the government told you Al-Qaeda did it, and then we'll move on.
Tens of thousands of tons of VX and sarin and mustard gas.
Oh, yeah, VX, sarin, mustard gas. So be very scared.
What the hell happened?
This is a very graphic video of Commander Abu Sakar. He is in this video. He has just killed a Syrian military member. This is a rebel that is now cutting the chest open of that Syrian. He takes out his liver and his heart. And to show you what's going to happen to all of his enemies, the commander eats it.
Okay, that's Glenn Beck telling you when they're not gang raping people, they're filming themselves cutting body organs out of dead soldiers and then eating them, and then you know, and he's a surgeon as well, because he cuts out the liver and the heart. Supposedly, you know, he doesn't just cut out a chunk of flesh. He specifically goes after certain organs that sound crazy and freaky. You know, because people are like, ew, he ate liver. Ugh, I hate liver. Stuff like that. And then so this is a mainstream news guy who's going to tell you that they're gang raping people, and now they're eating body parts and filming it themselves and sending it into Fox. Okay, there you go, and there you go. Isn't that believable? And you know, no, Max, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. No, these people are telling us the truth. It's obvious. It's obvious, right?
This is a very graphic video of Commander Abu Sakar. He is in this video.
By the way, in Spanish, sacar means take out, okay? And don't think that that's an accent, because he's taking out the body part, so he's Abu Sakar. That's for, like, because I bet you that there's a large portion of the American population who probably might have a Latin derivative language, and sacar, to take out, and that's so don't think that doesn't, so he's Abu Sakar. Thanks, Glenn Beck.
He has just killed a Syrian military member. This is a rebel that is now cutting the chest open of that Syrian. He takes out his liver and his heart. And to show you what's going to happen to all of his enemies, the commander eats it.
He's accountable. He's going to show you what he's going to do to you. He's going to take it. So you should lose some sleep tonight, because oh no, the Arab Muslim boogeyman is going to come to your house, cut your heart out, and you'll live around and eat it like a cannibal. Oh no, that's what he's going to do to you.
This is very rough to see. So if you're squinting,
okay, you think that Bill Maher, then you're gonna be like, oh, well, Glenn Beck's crazy. I'm like, okay, so you know what? You know, all the people who hate Glenn Beck are watching Bill Maher, and he's going to show you the same stupid video. Okay, so I don't want to hear again that this is a oh no, Glenn Beck is crazy. No, or Glenn Beck is just a sensationalist. No, because your man Bill Maher is playing it too. Another jerk-off liar, okay, from the left side, supposedly. You know, until you turn all these people off, or at least watch it with a grain of salt and to see what they're lying to you about, that's fine. But to believe any of this garbage and they're showing you the same, so Bill Maher's going to show you the same stupid video and perpetrate the same stupid garbage. By the way, and not only that, but Bashar Al-Assad also mentions this, okay, and I have it in a clip. I think I'm going to play the clip already. But he mentions eating, like the terrorists are eating the body parts of his soldiers. So you know, if you can't see that they're all reading the same stupid garbage scripts and perpetrating the same stuff, and then having people like Kerry and McCain and Obama and Rand Paul and all these people sell it to you like you're an absolute moron, which you are if you haven't noticed this, which I don't think most people have, because all I get is like, what do you think's happening in Syria, Max? I'm like, you know, do you think we're gonna bomb them or not? I'm like, what are you watching? Are you watching this garbage, or is it just me? Am I crazy? Crazy for being so lonely. I'm not a good singer, folks, but let me play that again. I like that one.
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
Okay, and here's Bill Maher.
This is very rough to see, so if you're squeamish, don't look. But this is a rebel commander, and this has been on TV before, but I think it's a good day to show it while we're getting into the war today.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Ya Tal Baba Amr!
Oh, tastes like chicken.
Okay, and they're doing the Allah Akbar and the Taste Like Chicken is what Bill Maher says about the same video. He didn't say what kind of garbage Glenn Beck is saying, showing on his show. No, he's showing the same garbage and doing this, and reacting in the same way. Okay, so and not telling you that he thinks that's garbage. Okay, and not telling you that he's what kind of garbage. If you're watching Glenn Beck, you're a total moron. No, he's going to say I'm a moron. If you're watching me or Glenn Beck, you're both morons, or you're a moron either way.
Do you want to give guns to the people who are eating the heart and liver out of their enemies? It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-harder and no gliverer, a no-brainer. And he almost laughed in the middle of that. They must think you are so stupid. And you know what? I haven't seen anybody pick up on it, so I guess you are stupid. I haven't had one person say, everyone's like, what do you think's happening in Syria, Max? But not one person said, Max, did you see that stupid video where they showed the guy, they said he's eating the heart out of the liver out of people? Nobody mentioned that to me. Okay? No, everybody's like, I wonder what's going to happen. You think, Bashar bomb? You think he did it? You think he did it? You think he's a chemical attacking guy in his own people and he's anti-Al Qaeda or whatever?
Most of the people will have died, and the rest of us will be cannibals. Civilization will have broken down.
They just think you're stupid.
And as I disparage Alex Jones today, but on this show, but I'm sorry.
They just think you're stupid.
When you're right, and you'll get some playtime on my show.
This just in, the suspicious bag detonated at Springfield Union Station today contained deadly plutonium, which can only mean one thing: a terrorist plot. Enough radioactivity was released to create 17 Hulks and a Spider-Man.
There you go. That's what happens when you release too much radioactivity.
They got to know at some point.
Who?
The public. They got to know? Yes. Stan, get with it.
What about the personal staff?
He's like, get with it.
What about the secretaries?
I would be amazed if they said anything.
Somebody's gonna know, pal.
Knowing and saying are two different things.
Oh, I'll tell you someday when they tell this story.
Oh, you can't tell this story.
Why not?
Somebody had you killed.
Okay, so you can't tell us. He's like, people gonna know. He's like, and Raul Julia says, and that was in Moon Over Parador when Richard Dreyfuss is playing an imposter leader of a South American country called Parador. He's Richard Dreyfuss saying they're gonna know. They're gonna know. He's like saying and knowing is two different things. Okay, and there's people who know, but you're not gonna hear them. But nobody's gonna tell you. They're telling you the opposite. They're selling you what the highest level people in the world and in this country are all selling you the lie. So what do you mean they're going to tell you? You think they're going to tell you the truth? No.
Oh, I'll tell you someday when they tell this story.
Oh, you can't tell this story.
Why not?
Somebody had you killed. It's absolutely true. The evidence is in. The tests have been taken. But, look, you can't look at bodies stacked up like that with no visible marks on them. By the way, you may not know this. The people who went in and took those horrible videos, that shocked us all, they died too.
Yeah, so McCain is telling you that the people who took the videos died too. So that's a double-edged sword technique where, first of all, they're going to say, first of all, how they got the videos, if the person who took them died, is you can figure that one out for yourself. But the second part is that if you ever want to find out, like, you want to speak to the person who took the video to verify anything, they're like, sorry, he died. He's dead. Or he doesn't exist anymore either. So, there's no way, again, constant plausible deniability and absurd absurd deniability, okay? Plausible absurdity. How about that? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to coin that phrase myself. Plausible absurdity, okay? That's what that is to me. Again, this one's again, ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what you get from John McCain, okay? And why we insist, why our news outlets insist on putting him on TV at all. Okay, after all the garbage that you hear from him and all these people, Lindsey Graham and all of them, just whatever. The list is endless. Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, whatever. They're all such morons and Peter King. They're such retards. Okay, and why we have to be shown those people like theirs? They have any credibility whatsoever. Kerry, in my point of view, it shows that they think you are stupid.
They just think you're stupid.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Here's John McCain said they died, too. Yeah, play that one again for you.
It's absolutely true. The evidence is in. The tests have been...
It's absolutely true. The evidence is in. Thanks, whatever, from a lying psycho like John McCain. Here we go.
Taken, but look, you can't look at bodies stacked up like that with no visible marks on them. By the way, you may not know this. The people who went in and took those horrible videos, that shocked us all, they died too.
Yes. All kidding aside, when this goes national, I get to put it on my resume?
Actually, no.
Because, what is it, a guild thing or something? I mean...
You can never tell anyone you did this.
What could they do to me?
They come home to your house and kill you.
Okay, so they're telling that's a fearmonger in a way to tell people, anybody who does participate or pretends they're participating in one of these staged theatrical events is being told in the movie Wag the Dog that she's like, can I tell anybody? She's like, can I put this on my resume? He's like, no, you can't tell anybody you did this. So that's just acknowledging that there are people being hired to do a job and as an actor or as to portray a certain role, and they sign disclaimers. They sign or they sign away. They sign non-disclosure agreements that are very serious and you don't dare go break that agreement because under the threat of death. Okay. That's the wonderful people at the from the movie Wag the Dog, and that's the way it works in real life too.
Yes.
All kidding aside, when this goes national, I get to put it on my resume?
Actually, no.
Because, what is it, a guild thing or something? I mean...
You can never tell anyone you did this.
What could they do to me?
They come home to your house and kill you.
Okay, isn't that special? Keep it going.
And I think that truth often is plays second fiddle just to people's emotions. They make decisions emotionally, and these decisions are not informed by evidence. They're not affected by evidence, and you can't use evidence effectively to sway decisions that are made emotionally.
Because the media all works together to make sure that you get the wrong message, which they'll tell you is the right one.
They're content with the government's account. It is emotionally satisfying. The contrary account is very disturbing.
As long as Bashar al-Assad is in power, I believe that there's going to be more atrocities.
I mean, is this some kind of incredible joke that people are so stupid they'll fall for this?
Nobody can tell this story, Stanley, ever. Listen to me. This is what I do for a living.
You can't tell this story. He's not kidding me. You can't tell this story. You knew that.
Some things we do know we can't talk about publicly.
There you go, and there's Kerry admitting that too. It's that funny. There's the Mr. Rhetorical leader.
Some things we do know we can't talk about publicly.
Oh, thanks. A lot of things.
Buddy boy, I'm in politics. When you tell me I gotta start telling the truth all the time, holy Hannah. You know something? I couldn't make a single political speech I couldn't run for office again.
And humanitarian organizations told stories of hospitals packed with people who had symptoms of poison gas.
Told stories of people who had symptoms of poison gas. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it was poison gas. It means they had symptoms of it. Again, plausible deniability, and again, and they told stories.
First rule of politics, kiddo. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
There you go.
The humanitarian disaster on this scale requires all hands on board, and the World Bank is definitely engaged.
Okay, that was just a quick clip from the BBC. I got two quick clips. They both talk about the World Bank is engaged in this humanitarian effort in Syria. Thank the World Bank.
Isn't the most important single thing that could be done is to persuade the US Federal Reserve to keep its monetary stimulus going?
Okay, so now the BBC is talking about a serious story, and the guy comes up and says, "Isn't the most important thing that the American Federal Reserve continues quantitative easing or QE to infinity, or buying $85 billion a month in mortgage-backed fraudulent mortgage-backed securities?" So, like, why that has to be stuck in there on this serious show? You can answer that for yourself again, but that's how twisted all these things get.
We need global governance, global financial governance, and we need it fast.
You do not have your left hand fight your right hand, or go through the motions of doing so, unless it is to amuse or deceive children, or to distract their attention from other matters while you're putting them to sleep.
Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business.
But it's a reign of terror. I don't call it the war on terror. I call it the reign of terror. They always have a reign of terror when they want to quickly adjust society into a new system.
The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. The essential act of modern warfare is the destruction of the produce of human labor. A hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. The war is waged by the ruling group against its own subjects, but to keep the very structure of society intact.
The hierarchical structure only stays intact on the basis of ignorance and poverty. Okay, that's one point that Winston makes in the movie in the book, or that was from the movie 1984, and the war is waged to destroy the production of the people's labor, and that's exactly what's going on in all these and that's the way that the rich and powerful continue to control, because they keep destroying everything you built, and then you got to use your tax money and use your labor and everything to build it again for you. And you're all sorry, we had to blow that up, and you have to build it again now.
300 years it takes to build a city, and in 3 weeks they wreck it. Heil Hitler.
The insiders learned to foment, nourish, magnify, and utilize every natural division among men, whether based on race, color, language, or religion, to create strife ranging from a precinct political feud to a major war between nations, to stimulate and control both sides of all such bitter divisions among mankind, and to profit enormously from the opportunities thus offered them to grasp more power amid the resulting chaos, resignation, and despair.
Okay, that's the definition of the United Nations and the world government criminals who are fomenting both sides, get people to fight with each other, and they reap the profits. Tremendous profits while we fight with each other and destroy our own shit, and he said they stimulate and fund both sides.
Blonde guys aren't dumb. They're evil, like in The Karate Kid in World War II.
Blonde guys aren't dumb, they're evil. That was just an interesting little clip from The Simpsons. Keep it going.
Let the United Nations in immediately.
Okay, so now we're going to go into this. So here's the solution. Okay, now the solution is going to be of this whole chemical weapons thing is like, you know what, we need to get the United Nations in here, and basically all of us have to practice or be conditioned to relinquishing our sovereignty to an unelected world body run by the Rockefellers and the Queen of England. There you go.
The inspectors revealed evidence today of what the UN Secretary General called war crimes that must be punished.
The report makes for chilling reading.
Oh, yes, Ban Ki-moon chilling, who's a total lying jerk-off. Makes for chilling reading.
The clearest evidence would, however, come from a team of UN experts already in Damascus.
The UN experts were already in Damascus.
The clearest evidence would, however, come from a team of UN experts already in Damascus.
The real work on the way forward in Syria has been taken out of the hands of the U.S. Congress. Now it's Russia and France and England and the U.S. all working through the United Nations.
Okay, Russia, France, U.S., and Europe working through the United Nations.
You are in violation of the Model UN Charter. That's right. The UN doesn't look too kindly on... The monster!
We have to make certain that in our actions we don't create the impression that we're colliding with the entire Muslim world and with the sensitivities of the Middle Eastern Muslims. And that pertains to the risk that our actions could be seen as part of a coalition of former imperial or colonial powers in the region. France, Britain, Turkey, conceivably even in some circumstances Israel.
That's just psychobabble from Z-Big Brzezinski again, talking about you don't want the Arabs to think that we're the colonial powers are taking them back over again. That's that in-your-face type of propaganda. Keep going.
Right now, many evil men and women believe the USA is weak and lacks the courage to right wrongs. Certainly the Russian tyrant Putin believes that, and so do some in the Chinese government.
Okay, so now O'Reilly's going to start telling you how the Chinese and the Russians think we're weak. No, they don't. They're all in this world government thing together, and we're controlling them, or the shadow government controls them too. Putin's without question an acting his role, and so do the Chinese in their way too. This world government's already in place, folks. It's just not being. You're not being told that, because you're too busy watching TV, the show, and the theatrical production they make out of it on TV.
I think all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives.
So that those weapons can move under international control and be destroyed through a technical process that we'll have to negotiate with Russia and the UN and other countries.
We have to just go the UN and other countries. There you go on NBC. There you go.
The initiative to establish international control over Syrian chemical weapons is underway.
Requires Assad to disclose his weapons actually by Friday. If he doesn't deliver, the enforcement is left up to the UN, but none of that is spelled out, and Russia has vetoed any use of force by the UN.
Okay, so that's enforced by the UN. Okay, so that again, so they're gonna. So now the UN is the overruling body of the that intervenes in anything they feel like now, and we signed our sovereignty over to the UN along with all these other countries involved. Isn't that sweet?
Order! Do you kids want to be like the real UN, or do you just want to squabble and waste time?
I have a deeply held preference for peaceful solutions.
Okay, so always the communist doctrine is peace is communism or collectivism on it's for the peace, it's to keep the peace, and so Obama, Mr. Peaceful Doctrine, Mr. Peace Prize himself, even though he starts wars and even though he was out there on TV hawking the war.
From the beginning, President Obama has repeated again and again there is no military solution.
No, he just wants to go over there and bomb them. That's not. But I'm not sure he didn't repeat that on his speech on TV that night.
If they don't go into that peace conference with at least some victories on the rebel side, the rebels won't show up. So the president is trying to bolster them enough so they can get to the peace conference and make some.
Okay, so that's on Bill Maher's show. They have this guy, and he's saying that that's why we're funding rebels in Syria, which I doubt even that's even happening. But if you want to say, if there are rebels, you want to argue with me half to death on that, I doubt it. But and I'm not going to go into this long show's long enough as it is. But yeah, so now we're saying because in order to keep the peace, we have to fund the rebels. Again, and Obama's like and Obama knows that, or else they're never going to come to the peace agreement if they're losing. Which just doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. That's on your left-wing Bill Maher show.
Eventually bringing about, quote, peace, unquote, by surrendering all remaining American sovereignty to the United Nations and enabling that communist one-world government to police our country with foreign troops and mercilessly suppress all opposition with exactly the same cruelties and terror that have already been used in dozens of other countries.
The United States and Russia have long agreed that there is no military solution to the conflict in Syria.
Al-Qaeda will only draw strength in a more chaotic Syria if people there see the world doing nothing to prevent innocent civilians from being gassed to death.
Okay, so now he's arguing again to do something about it militarily, and then we have Kerry and everybody and the NBC lady Andrew Mitchell saying, and everybody saying, yeah, but and Obama and now I'll have Susan Rice tell you, no, but where Obama's doesn't want to do any military interventions, and we're going to do this based on peace, and then Robert Welch tells you that's how they always do it. They always come, they say this is for the peace, this is to maintain the peace. We got to do the war thing to maintain peace.
So yes,
and then we got to let the United Nations take over from there.
So yes, the instruments of war do have a role to play in preserving the peace.
That was from his Peace Prize speech. There you go. He said, we need war to have peace. War is peace.
I ask you to reconcile your commitment to America's military might with a failure to act when a cause is so plainly just.
Okay, we need to act when a cause is just.
Western arrogance of feeling that it has everything to teach others and nothing to learn from them is not just.
Not just, but it's all based on the peace thing. Let's listen to that Robert Welch clip once again.
Eventually bringing about, quote, peace, unquote, by surrendering all remaining American sovereignty to the United Nations and enabling that communist one-world government to police our country with foreign troops and mercilessly suppress all opposition with exactly the same cruelties and terror that have already been used in dozens of other countries.
If the USA fails to act against Assad, the unintended consequence would be a loss of respect from those who care about a just world.
Whatever that. Yeah, we're going to lose our respect to the people who care about by the people who care about a just world.
Diplomacy has always been the preferred path of the President of the United States, and I think is any peace-loving nation's preferred choice.
Right. Diplomacy is war is peace, because his idea of diplomacy is going on TV and saying he thinks we need to attack them.
President Obama has consistently demonstrated his commitment to multilateral diplomacy. He would much prefer the backing of the United Nations Security Council.
Okay, multilateral, that'd be trilateral commission and diplomacy, and he's looking for diplomacy. His diplomacy is multilateral invasion and attack and peace. On the premise of peace, which is exactly what Robert Welch told you is exactly how they run things out of the United Nations.
When, with modest effort and risk, we can stop children from being gassed to death and thereby make our own children safer over the long run, I believe we should act. That's what makes America different. That's what makes us exceptional.
Right, that makes exceptions that we like to attack people and with moderate risk or something like that. I'm not sure what the hell that's supposed to mean either. That's how after we just heard Kerry and Susan Rice and all these other people saying that, Obama's taking the diplomacy route. No, he's not. He's on TV telling you he wants to attack them over and over and over again. But again, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. This is all absurdity. and let's just let the United Nations handle it.
We are not protecting the Syrian government. We are protecting the international law.
The Russians, okay, we're protecting the United Nations law.
It also provides for UN administrative and logistical support. In the event of non-compliance, we have committed to impose measures under Chapter 7 within the UN Security Council.
There you go, and Kerry's already imposing measures provided by the United Nations. Again, so we're relinquishing our sovereignty to United Nations because of the stupid Syria fake chemical bombing nonsense, garbage. And and everybody's like reassuring, all these liars are reassuring us that that's good for us.
By the beginning of November, they must give unfettered access to UN nuclear inspectors.
Our goal would be to seek international permission, and we would come to the Congress and inform you and determine how best to approach this, whether or not we would want to get permission from the Congress. I think those are issues we would have to discuss as we decide what to do here.
Okay, so Panetta is telling in front of a congressional hearing, he's saying, we'll let you know if we need your help or anything, but we're gonna let the United Nations again tell us what to do on in a military type environment, whether or not we should use our military. And Panetta's telling you who's the head of the CIA, I think, at the time, and my. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but and he's saying that we'll let you know what the United Nations tells us to do. Our own Congress, who's supposed to be the only ones who's supposed to authorize military action. He's like, no, we'll let you know, but we're deciding whether or not we're going to tell you. He said. Not that whether or not we're going to listen to you, we're going to ask you. He's like, he's like, we're not listening to you. We're going to get our marching orders from the United Nations, and we'll let you know if we're going to tell you. Is what he said, Panetta. And let's play that again, and we'll move on.
Our goal would be to seek international permission, and we would come to the Congress and inform you and determine how best to approach this, whether or not we would want to get permission from the Congress. I think those are issues we would have to discuss as we decide what to do here.
Beautiful. So yeah, we'll let you know if whatever the United Nations tells us what to do.
The establishment of the United Nations. This organization was conceived by communists, founded by communists, has always been controlled by communists, and has been used increasingly and ever more brazenly to carry out communist purposes. But it was sold by propaganda and pretense to the American people and to most of the rest of the world as a means of maintaining peace and preventing communist aggression.
If it comes to an operation where we're trying to build a coalition of nations to work together to go in and operate as we did in Libya or Bosnia, for that matter Afghanistan, we want to do it with permissions either by NATO or by the international community.
We're going to do it with permissions from NATO or the international community. There's nothing to say by our own government. Okay, again, that's treasonous, and that's your man Panetta, who's telling you right to your face we don't need our own congressional approval to use our army for stuff. That we're going to go for what the United Nations tells us to do, which is exactly what's going on with this whole Syria thing.
This is a coup. This is in our own country, a regime change in our own country.
That was from the Manchurian Candidate, and that's Denzel. You know what he said again?
This is a coup. This is in our own country, a regime change in our own country.
We will very soon be meeting again. We've agreed to meet on the margins of the UN General Assembly.
Syrian people are moderate, with the highest literacy rate.
There's your man McCain telling you, yeah, we got to go with the United Nations, and the Syrians are very literary.
Those people in Washington, D.C. are not about the business of government. They are about the business of treason. They have sold us down the river. They are engaged in lies and deception and manipulation to bring us into a government that we would never accept willingly, nor would we even consider if we knew what was really going on.
We would never even consider it if we knew what was really going on. Okay, they're moving us into a criminal world government, unelected, and people are just so head up their ass. They don't even know what's going on. That's the truth. And these people are being treasonous right in front of our fucking faces. Okay. Oh yeah, we got this engine. Don't worry, the United Nations told us it's okay. Thanks. An unelected body. Great.
We're gonna spread freedom. Obama's gonna change it. Obama's gonna lead 'em. We're gonna change it and rearrange it. We're gonna change the world.
Isn't that loving? Isn't that loving?
Why, do you believe in God?
Well, I believe that there's somebody out there who watches over us.
Unfortunately, it's the government.
Al-Qaeda always use the religions, the Islam actually, as pretext and as a cover and as a mantle for their war and for their terrorism and for their killing and beheading and so on.
Okay, so now Bashar Al-Assad is talking about how Al-Qaeda uses religion, the Islam religion, to manipulate people. It's so convoluted and twisted. He's a Muslim, supposedly, with an Israeli accent. So now we're going to do a small segment on how the manipulators tried to get us at each other's throats by attacking all the different religions and fomenting divisions between people on religious grounds, and it's all nonsense again, and you're going to see it all perpetrated right in front of your face by the same lying media liars who are going to just get you all like again about it was the Jews, it was the Muslims, it's the Christians, it's the Pope, and whatever they can do to get you fighting with each other about emotional topics like religion and things like that, or race, or sexual preference, or political affiliation, whatever they can do, and it's just nonstop. And I'm going to show you how that works real fast in a quick segment about blaming the Jews and stuff like that. Here we go.
If there has been a use of chemical weapons, it was Al-Qaeda who used the chemical weapons. Who gave Al-Qaeda the chemical weapons? Here's my theory. Israel gave them the chemical weapons.
Israel is giving chemical weapons to Al-Qaeda. Okay, that's George Galloway, who's an MP in the UK government. Okay, and he's playing. He said so. Now Israel's giving Al-Qaeda chemical weapons to use that. So and that Al-Qaeda use them on the Syrian people and then blame them on Assad. Isn't that? And then we blame it on Assad also. Isn't that interesting? And you like so if that was really true, why wouldn't we why wouldn't we blame Al-Qaeda? But that's so nonsensical. So Israel's giving out chemical weapons to Al-Qaeda and then we blame it on Assad. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that stupid enough for you?
You know it's the Jews who are behind it.
No, we don't know it's the Jews behind it, and I've never said that, and neither should you. George Bush is certainly not a Jew, but he's a part of it.
Right, he works for them. Yeah, they put him in office.
No, it's not that he works for them. You don't understand the structure of the organization that is actually bringing apart world government.
What's a Jew?
You never saw a Jew? Here, I have some sketches. There are Jews.
No kidding. They all have these horns?
No, this is the Russian Jew. The German Jew has these stripes.
My religion says I can never eat pork.
A different religion? Do not tell anyone that, because if the bullies around here find out that you're different...
Who's different?
Today, the most important basic split among mankind lies in color. The communists are making the greatest possible capital for themselves out of that division and are planning to make even more capital in the future. But in the 19th century, the division of greatest significance was between Jew and Gentile. So the most valuable plank in this area of communist strategy was the revival, nourishment, and magnification of the dislike, distrust, and bitterness now associated with the term anti-Semitism. The communists are always sharpening and using both edges of this sword.
Okay, so the world government perpetrators, the insiders, as Robert Welch calls them, or the communists, as he conveniently uses that word. He's saying, and you know what? I'm a Jew, and I know how that works. Okay, because listen, they're setting the Jewish people up because of these people who are out there blaming the Jews, blaming this, blaming that for all these things. When it gets uglier and uglier, we'll be scapegoated again in that regard. And the average Jew has nothing to do with any of this garbage, okay? But there's people at the top who are parading as Jews and parading as non-Jews and everything, and those are the ones who are fomenting this divisive nonsense about anti-Semitism. But don't forget, folks. If you're one of my Jewish mishpucha out there, don't forget that these, in the Holocaust they scapegoated the Jews, okay, and the Gypsies and people of color, which were less abundant in those areas, this is all being stoked again, and this is a blatant technique used by these communist world government criminals to get everybody at each other's throats, and then blaming it on this one and that one, and then and that's how it's done. That's in the communist handbook, and people and most Jewish people I know are too hoity-toity and think they're too smart, even though they're morons watching stupid TV shows that they think that they don't see any of this around, okay? And all they do is listen to what Rachel Maddow says or feeds them with some garbage or some other NBC or CNN idiot next, or for that matter, your Fox people who are just twisted as well. They're all twisted.
Capitol Hill is Israeli occupied territory.
What you have to understand is this is not leading toward an Israel of the world. It's leading toward a Marxist socialist utopian, or they believe it's utopian. It's going to be like the old Soviet Union world government.
There you go.
I'd like to talk about some things that bring us together, things that point out our similarities instead of our differences, because that's all you ever hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different from one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing, happens to work. You know, anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything they can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I'm sorry. It's just so fun and easy to judge people based on religion.
I think it's great how our hate for other people brings us together. I love you guys.
Today, they're like a man accepting the invitation of a thug who says to him, "Let's you and me argue heatedly over our disagreements while my partner is slipping up behind your back to cut your throat."
Be still and know that I am God. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but one of power and love and self-discipline.
Help me, almighty Mo!
Can't. I'm not really a god. I was just acting crazy to get out of jury duty.
I'm coming down the backstretch of this show, folks. It's been a little bit of a long one, too. We're wrapping this up. So I'm just going to let that religion stuff sink in. I don't want to go on and on because I could probably talk for another hour about that. This is all by intent to get people to fight with each other about every single thing you can name, and anti-Semitism and Jew not against not Gentile. It's always been a good one, that's for sure.
But
What about the terrorists? That's right. Terrorists. We have intelligence that suggests that Hitler is plotting with the Legion of Doom to assassinate Jesus.
The world needs to ensure that radical regimes don't have weapons of mass destruction. Because as we've learned once again in Syria, if rogue regimes have weapons of mass destruction, they will use them.
If you're not listening to me, those people who are involved in bringing about one world government do not believe in any religion. In fact, their goal is to destroy all existing religions, including the Jewish religion.
The government told them Al-Qaeda did it, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, so I'm coming down the backstretch of this show in the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. We're talking about this. It's called "You Can't Be Serious," and I'll let me just run through the last few clips. We're coming down the backstretch here. I'm gonna have a small segment on how we try to stoke the American rah-rah spirit, to keep us all always fighting with each other and always pro battle and pro and make it into a kind of like a rah-rah football or a sporting scenario. And then I'm going to have a small little couple of clips on how they're going to try to tie the Russians, like they're our enemies now, which is not true at all. They're all part of the same world government plan to stoke divisions and all that stuff. I'll have a quick clip from Ehud Barak again, where you can see how he has the same exact accent that Bashar Al-Assad has, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Subsequently, I'll give you a quick overhaul, and that'll be that. So, here we go. So, this is about all the pussies out there in the media, like Bill Maher and Matthews, and for that matter, Rand Paul. They're all and Hillary. They're all like, yeah, we'll kick your ass. Like they're like big fighters or something now. Like they're really tough. Like if they've ever been to in none of. I doubt any of them have ever been in any type of military service at all. But they're the ones like, oh yeah, we'll kick your fucking ass, man. Anyway, and it's sickening too. And I'll play it through. I'll kind of let them run all in a row, and then we'll start coming down the backstretch, wrapping the show up. Here we go.
Let me make something clear. The United States military doesn't do pinpricks.
And what Assad feels in terms of our response will not be a pinprick. He will know it when it happens.
If you use poison gas, the United States of America will personally fuck you up.
You keep talking about negotiations, you die. That's our negotiating position. Hillary says it, Obama says it, they all say it.
Well, gosh, the guy who did this deserves death. I mean, the death penalty for killing civilians.
Bashar Al-Assad.
We came, we saw, he died.
It's entertainment for Americans. Oh, we're kicking somebody else's butt. We're the great macho power. We're on the march here and there and so on. So it's a form of entertainment, helps their advertising revenues.
Because we'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. America! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Freedom is the only way, yeah! It's the dream that we all share. It's the hope for tomorrow.
That indecisiveness, I think, gave the diplomatic advantage to the Russians. They saw it. They stepped in. This is a Russian plan for Russian interests.
I know that President Putin is highly committed to the struggle against terror, and I feel that he should be part of this international effort.
The president of Russia has come to New York City and hired one of its best public relations firm, and they did a pretty good job on writing that editorial.
Putin has played his cards very well and has emerged as a major power when he has no right to be a major power.
When you lead by following, somebody else bigger, stronger, and tougher than you takes over, and they start leading. Right. And now Iran and Russia are leading in Syria, not the United States of America.
It's a good point. It's just embarrassing for the nation. No matter how you spin the...
Okay, it's just embarrassing for the nation. And again, look at the people who are telling you this. Peter King is a total lying moron. Giuliani, who's like, who's just compromised and a total lying slime bag, okay? Then you have Ehud Barak, who's a former prime minister of Israel, who's again a propagandist, and he's telling you how and what they want you to believe is that we have like some sort of rivalry with the Russians and Putin's actually calling shots. None of that's true, okay? These people are all figureheads, and they're all taking marching orders and orders from the behind the scenes shadow government run out of the United Nations and the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission and the throne of England. Okay, and if you don't believe that, then that's good. That's too bad for you, because that's the way it is, folks, and that's the way. And like Bill Cooper said earlier in the earlier clip, if people only knew what was really going on, I guarantee they would not be down with it. Okay. It's time that people started waking up and seeing these things. Let me keep it going, and we're almost down. We're down to the last few clips of the You Can't Be Serious show.
No matter how you spin this, it appears that Putin really is kind of pulling the strings. Putin is kind of looks like he's winning the day.
Vladimir Putin has pretty much so played President Obama, if I can use an old Southern term, like a broken banjo.
Vladimir Putin, frankly, walked all over Barack Obama.
Tossing Obama around, I don't care what you say, like a rag doll.
Putin enjoys beating on Obama, and Obama will always give up the lunch money.
It seems to have really kind of, this may sound extreme, but sort of castrated the United States.
Okay, and they want you to believe that, like, we should have our guard up against the Russians and Putin because he's messing with our man and this and that, and it's all this is all nonsense.
Well, boys, I reckon this is it. Nuclear combat toe-to-toe with the Ruskies.
Today, Moscow and Washington are, and for many years have been, but two hands of one body controlled by one brain.
There you go. They've been running both of us out of the same office for years, and that was an old clip, and I promise you it's been going on that for years. Again, this is all theatrics for the dumbed down, TV worshipping, iPhone doodling American public, period.
I want you to go over to their house and apologize.
But we're the more powerful country for a few more years.
Okay, and on that note, I got a few more clips, but I'm just going to play those clips out at the end of the show. So the bottom line is there wasn't any chemical attack in Syria. We have Bashar Al-Assad, who's a dupe agent of the world government communist criminal cabal, who's and along with our own lying politicians, and along with Putin, and along with pretty much almost every single world leader you're going to see, and they're all out there at the highest level selling us garbage and nonsense about gang raping and about people eat cannibals and about Muslim cannibals eating gang raping and then Bashar al-Assad he's Syrian Al-Qaeda now. He's coining the phrase Syrian Al-Qaeda, but he's bombing he's gassing his own people from chemical weapons he got from Israel he's being blamed for gassing by Obama and Kerry and Hillary and all these people. He's being blamed for chemical attacking his own people, but George Galloway in the UK is telling everybody that the Al Qaeda did it and they got their chemical weapons from Israel. Whatever. Okay, and like you're not being played like a total idiot. Okay, and the solution is going to be, you know what? Let's just let the United Nations take over everything, and because we're all a bunch of incompetent fools. So and who the stupid people elected. So let's just go with unelected people who know better than our incompetent fools. And everybody's like, oh, I'm so I'm stupid. So we'll just let somebody else handle it, and that'll be that. And So that's the show. You can't be serious. It's another hoax scam. And by the way, as I told people before, this story is just about gone away, just like the North Korea and all these other stupid rollout stories, just to get us through another month in August while they set up another a financial disaster, which I would believe is coming soon, and I'm probably going to try to focus or take a look towards what's going to come up with that, because I believe that one's coming soon, and maybe in the next couple of months. How that's going to go down, time will tell. I'm going to try to do my research and give you an idea of what I think how it's going to go down. So once again, thanks for coming aboard the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. You Can't Be Serious, name the show. It's September 24th. Thanks for coming aboard. You know what? I'm going to sign off to you right now. I'm Max Ratt. Over and out.
We have the problem of a very considerable number of spineless jellyfish going around among us wearing human clothes. They are aware of what is happening. They do not know whether it can be stopped or not. But if so, they murmur quietly to themselves, let George do it.
Richard Gere's a real hero of mine. Sting would be another person who's a hero. The music that he's created over the years, I don't really listen to it, but the fact that he's making it, I respect that.
Get him, guys! Stupid, angry mob chasing me because I shine a harsh light on modern society.
There are those who are seeking to equate dissent with disloyalty. It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent.
The consequent willingness of the American people to allow the steps of appeasement by our government, which amount to a piecemeal surrender of the rest of the free world and of the United States itself.
There's something deep inside. There's a part that they can't get to, and it's deep inside of us, and that's where the truth is. That's our only hope. That's what you and me need to tap into, and that's what you and I are going to use to take them out.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children.
Let him come back, you tell Mother I love her.
Your mother's dead, Llewellyn.
Well, then I'll tell her myself.